Ladies and gentlemen, good evening to you all. Those of you who are outside, requesting all of you to please join us inside. We're about to get started. Those of you who are outside, please join us inside. Please be seated, everyone. Get started. Everybody kindly take your seats. All right, so if you have more folks outside, can I ask all of you to please join us inside? And those of you standing at the back, can I ask all of you to kindly take your seats? All right, so good evening, everyone. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Super, very nice. All right, so I see most of you all, I don't know, we will not spoken, I'm sure, but most of us are like in sync with black and white, I believe. Yeah. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, very good evening to all of you and welcome to the Bangalore edition of the inaugural initiative co-hosted by Social Samosa and Quora, the third edition of Quoraverse, Unlocking Knowledge for Impact. Well, after the success of our previous events at Mumbai and Gurgaon, we're thrilled to have you all with us here tonight. This gathering of marketing leaders and peers embodies our shared commitment to growing and sharing knowledge, fostering connections, and sparking innovative ideas. Well, as we kick off this evening, I'd encourage all of you to engage with one another, share insights, and leverage the collective expertise in the room. Together, let's create an enriching experience that reflects the spirit of both Quora and Social Samosa. I have a question for all of you, ladies and gentlemen. My question to you all, are you all excited for the evening? Yes, I hear a few yeses. Now, we want that yes also to be a little exciting. All right, so let's do this again. Are we all excited? Super, very nice. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats as we embark on an evening dedicated to unlocking knowledge for impact. I am Nicole Adams, your host for this evening, and it's my absolute pleasure to be guiding you through today's sessions. Well, we will explore the influence of shared knowledge on digital trust and consumer behavior. Let's work together to uncover insights that can drive meaningful change. Well, now to officially kickstart the evening, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like all of you to please put your hands together in welcoming Mr. Gurmeet Singh, the General Manager of Quora for APAC and MENA. Mr. Gurmeet brings profound understanding of digital landscapes and will set the perfect tone for tonight's discussion. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together as loud as you can for Mr. Gurmeet Singh.
So first of all, thanks everyone for adding Quoraverse to your schedules and for navigating the Bangalore roads and coming out here. So big thank you to all of you. I'll give a little context on Quora to all of you are familiar with it, but just like a quick recap. Quora is a 15-year-old company started by Adam D'Angelo, the founder, who's the current CEO as well. It is Mountain View based, California based in the US. We started the India operations, which is the India entity, was set up like 5 years ago. So India was the first international office which was set up by Quora. Quora, as you know, is on a mission to share and grow the world's knowledge. And India happens to be the second largest user base for Quora. So very important for Quora. And in India, we have like 3 offices. We have like Delhi, Bombay, and Bangalore. And we've had Quoraverse in Delhi and Bombay, and this is the Bangalore edition. So thank you again for making it out here. This is a great forum. I think so many good, well-known marketing faces, and it's the right forum, in my opinion, for thought leadership, which Quora stands for. And looking forward to kind of hearing all of you and being inspired. I think it's also a great opportunity to network with each other, so please take out time and get to know each other as well. We are also using this occasion to honor the best campaigns of 2024. So that will be also done in today's function. And we also have Quora for Good. So we have Access Life, which is an NGO which is working towards cancer treatment for children. So we have that as well presenting today. So hopefully we'll have a good evening today, hearing each other, discussing, chatting, networking, and hopefully we go back inspired. So thank you again.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gurmeet, for your inspiring words. Okay, so before we dive deep into today's sessions, what we've got for the evening, so let's do something fun. Yes, everybody's ready? Okay, so now what we'll all do is, can I ask all of you to please take your phones out, your cell phones out. So after this, we're going to have many sessions for which I'd like you all to put your phones on silent firstly. And now, you can see a QR code placed on your table. So what you should do is go ahead and scan the QR code. All right, so I'm going to tell you what we're going to do, so you can scan it from here as well. Scan the QR code and put in your name, punch in your name. So register yourself. Now what we're going to do is play a small quiz with all of you. Okay, and we have a list of questions. Now to answer, firstly punch in your name, register yourself as you scan the QR code. So once we have, sorry, you have any question? Okay, so once we have the questions come up, we have about 15 questions in all. So each question you have about 10 seconds to answer them, and then if you do not answer them in that given time, it will move on to the next one. All right, so let's see who comes on top. All right, everybody's ready? Anybody? Yes, you have a question? Pin. All right, so can we have the pin? All right, so I hope everybody is on the page where you need the pin. Right? Okay. All right, so that's the pin. The game pin is 288-4368. It's on the screen. Okay, so I see Vipul's name first and everybody else joining in. Everybody's in. Okay. Is anybody facing any issue in having to join? Everybody's good? All right, so let's get started. You all know the rules. We have about 10 seconds to answer each question. So let's see who comes on top. All right, so can we have a first question, please? Now we have very, very simple ones. I'm sure you all can answer. All right, now to our first question. All right, a very, very easy one. In marketing, what does the term USP stand for? All right, a very easy one. Unique selling point. We have unique selling proposition, and yeah, most of you have answered unique selling proposition. Okay. All right, so can we have the results after this? Okay, so we have a lot of you all, Abhishek, Karan, and Tushar on top. Okay, is that you guys there? Oh, very nice. Okay, very nice. Okay, so we will have the leaderboard put up after each question, so you all can know where you stand at. So we're only in question 1 right now, so we have 15 to go. You never know. All right, so let's go ahead with the next one. What does the term PPC stand for in online marketing? Product placement cost, pay per click, profit per customer, price per campaign. What do you think is the answer? So select the answer and submit. So, okay, so pay per click. So that's the maximum number of responses we've got. 37 of you have responded pay per click. All right, so let's see. Okay, so Abhishek still on top. All right, then we have Mahima and Tushar as well, Karan as well. So top 3. And let's move on to the next one. Okay, at least most of you are giving the correct answers so far. What does the S in HTTPS stand for? So HTTPS, what is the S? Safe, simple, secure, server. All right, so this is another easy question. All right, so 32 of you, and then 12 of you have given us server as the answer. Okay, so yeah, it's quite simple, but again, secure is the correct answer, what you see on screen. So 32 of you have given us the right answer. Now let's see the scoreboard. What does it look like? Again, we have a man, Abhishek, on top. So 3 right answers for him. Give him a round of applause, everybody. And then I believe we had we had APS in the 5th position. Now he's in the same, this one again. All right, so AT is a new entrant here with 2794 points. Let's move on to the next one. What is the most popular topic on Quora? An interesting question. Is it based on science, relationship, technology or business? What do you think is the most popular topic on Quora? All right, so it's a very interesting question. Again, we have different opinions from different people. 4 people for science and 24 of you for relationships, 2 of you for technology and 8 for business. Okay, so now relationships, what you see is the right answer, like most of you are thinking here. All right, so let's see the scoreboard now. Oh my God, what do you think? Abhishek is the answer. What did you answer? You thought it was science. You're among the 2 people, is that right? Yeah. Okay, so finally, we have Abhishek step down. I mean, you're not on the top 5, Abhishek, just because you did not choose relationship, I understand. All right, so we have Vamsi come on top. I believe he was on 3rd or 4th. Okay, and then we have AT. Who is AT now? Yeah, what's your name, ma'am? Aparna. All right, so I'm just going to call Aparna for now. Okay, so Miss AT in the 2nd place. She takes the 2nd place. And we have Vamsi on top. Where is Vamsi here? Oh, very nice. Okay, here you go. All right, so can we have the next question, please? What is the maximum number of characters allowed in Quora question title? What is your answer? We have option as 100, 200, 150 and 250. 100, 150, 200 and 250. Okay. I don't know, for some reason, there is this option 2 and 4 getting maximum number of hits, So we have 20 of you all answering 150, and then we have 13 of you all answering 250. Well, this time, minority wins, and we have 250 is the correct answer. So yeah, let's have the leaderboard, please. Okay, so Vamshi and Arushi. Where is Arushi? Okay, very nice. Is he teaching you the answers? No? Okay, very nice. Okay. All right, so Vamsi on top. Then we have Abhishek back again in game. Very nice in top 3. And ma'am, what about you? You went down to 5th one this time. Okay, so the rest of you all, we'd like to see some new names now. All right, so can we move on to the next one? So we're in 7th question. Which marketing metric measures the website's visitors' desired action? Is it the engagement rate, click-through rate, bounce rate, or the conversion rate? What do you think is the answer? All right, so we almost have, equal number of responses for click-through rate and conversion rate. Okay, so 20 of you all think it's click-through rate, but the correct answer is conversion rate. So that's the metric that's used to, measure the visitors' desired actions. Well, conversion rate is the right answer. Those of you who've given me the right answer, let's see. Can we have the scoreboard, please? All right, we can clearly see Abhishek has given the right answer. And we also have Vamsi still on top. We have Deepesh. Where is Deepesh? Oh, very nice. Good to see you on top 3. All right, can we have the next one, please? Next question. Question 8. What is the name of Quora feature for creating and joining topic communities? Your options are groups, clubs, forums, and spaces. Come on, guys. All right, so we have 7 of you saying groups, and then 3 for clubs, and 16 for forums, and for spaces we have 16. And the correct answer is spaces. Now, can we please see the scoreboard? All right, so Deepesh is back in game with winning, answering 3 questions in a row. Give him a round of applause, everybody. Well done. Okay, with that, we still have Vamsi on top. And then we have Abhishek taking the 2nd place and Deepesh. So if you keep winning, you might go up. All right, so let's move on to the next one. What is the name of the Quora feature that allows users to upvote and downvote content? Your options are rating, liking, voting, and reacting. What do you think is the answer? Send in your answers. Let's see. So we have voting with the maximum number of votes, and that is the correct answer, with 21 of you answering voting and 10 of you with rating and reacting. All right, so can we see the scoreboard, please? Oh no, Vamsi. Okay, so we have Deepesh who's gone on top with 6,108 points. And then Vamsi, and who is SMS now? Okay, so is there an expansion for SMS or Sandesh and Hawaii SMS just like that? Oh, okay, fine, fine, all right. Okay. Very nice. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Which three factors together form the customer value triad? All right, so you have your options on screen. Go ahead and choose which one you think is the right answer. Okay, so again, mixed responses for this one. Okay, the most of you, with 14 people, have given as product, service, and experience, but sadly it is quality, service, and price. So only 5 of you in the room have gotten this answer correctly, which is quality, service, and price. Well, these are the 3 factors which together form the customer's value triad. Okay, now I'm sure the scoreboard would have changed a little bit because only 5 of you have given us the right answer. So can we have the scoreboard? Okay, we still stand the same point, is that right? All right. Okay, we still have Deepesh, Vamsi, and Mr. Sandesh on top 3. Well done, you guys. I think we have already 3 out of 5 people, I believe. I mean, if you have given that answer right, yeah? Okay, let's move on to the next one. What is the trend for creating personalized experiences for customers and marketing across all channels? Well, your options are omnichannel marketing, customization, personalization, and integration. Okay, I so knew that people are going to shuffle between customization and personalization. All right, so the correct answer is integration. Okay, only 2 of you have given the right answer. Can I know which 2 of you have given us integration 1, and who is the other person in the room? Doesn't want to take credit for the correct answer. All right. Okay. Let's go with the scoreboard, please. All right. So we have Deepesh, Vamsi, and Mr. Sandesh again on top 3. All right. Let's move ahead with our next question. All right, our next question is, in the year 2000, which company offered to sell itself to the Blockbuster for $50 million? What do you think is the answer of the 4? Cinema Now, Hollywood Video, Movie Gallery, and Netflix. All right, so Netflix, most of you have given Netflix as the answer, and only 7 of you answered Hollywood Video. Well, Netflix is the correct answer, everyone. And yes, now let's go back to our scoreboard. All right, so last few questions, everybody. If you want to show up in the top 5, you need to get them all right. Okay, so we have a little bit of shuffling. We have Deepesh on top, and then Mr. SMS coming second, and then we have Mr. Abhishek in the 3rd place. All right, so let's go forward. Next question. 2 more questions to all of you. What is the original name of Amazon, which started its first operations as the online bookseller? What do you think is the correct answer? What do you think is the correct answer? Okay. Who answered abracadabra? 20 of you all. All right, so option B is the correct answer, everybody. So the 8 of you who have given the correct answer. So can you please have the scorecard? Okay, so we have APS. Who is APS? All right, what's your name, ma'am? Sorry? Didn't come, but she still made it. Yeah, very nice. All right, very good. Okay, so we still have the page on top, and then we have APS stands for what, ma'am? What's your name, ma'am? Aparna again. Okay, Aparna, and we have Mr. Sandesh in the 3rd place. All right, so next question. All right, identify the brand for its iconic slogan, the ultimate driving machine, the most easiest of them all. Is it BMW, Audi, Volkswagen, or Tesla? What is the correct answer? Okay, a few of you all think it's Volkswagen, but the ultimate driving machine is BMW. All right, so now can we please see the scorecard? All right, so Aparna, you also have a streaker, like Snapchat, you have that now. Okay, so we have Deepesh on top still, and we have Abhishek. So you've gone down to the 4th position. All right, so we have one more question to go. All right, so last question and the deciding question for you all. Which of the following was never produced by Lamborghini? So is it sports cars, police cars, tractors, and engine trains? All right, so this is the final question which decides our top 3, and let's see who the winner is. All right, so electric trains is the correct answer, which most of you have answered correctly. 19 of you all have given the correct answer. So with that, we have Abhishek coming back. All right, our first man who got the correct answer. So he's back on top. Very well done with 8,056 points. Close second was Deepesh. Give him a round of applause, everybody. 7,928 points. And then we have Aparna with 7,639 points. So Sandesh, sadly, you ended up 4th again after having, been the 3rd place for a long time. Okay, now to our winner, Mr. Abhishek Yu. Can we please have you on stage? Yeah, sorry. Okay, so they said there's one more question now. Okay, so we have one more question. What is the name of Quora features that allows users to form communities around shared interests and tastes? Okay, so can we now have... Okay, so we have Aparna in the 2nd place, and then we have... Okay, I don't know. Okay, give me a moment, huh? Please help me decide. All right, so now what we are going to do is, you all know the last question was a repeat. So with that, I'm not going to use this. And with everybody's consent, we're going to give it to Abhishek. Is that all right? Yes, everybody, a big round of applause for Abhishek, please. Come, yes, please come forward. All right, here we go. Everybody, make some noise. Let's hear it out with a big hand. Congratulations. This is for you. Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, for participating. I hope all of you enjoyed. Yes? No? No, if for nothing, at least we've gotten to know some things which we did not know, right? Okay. All right, everybody. So with that, it's time for our very first panel discussion for the evening. Well, this one's all about the marketer's guide to contextual advertising. We'll explore how brands can foster lasting relationship with customers and in an increasingly digital marketplace. Well, to chair the session, I'd like to request Ms. Deepti Baduria, the Chief Strategy Officer, Hive Minds, to please join us on stage. Everybody, a bigger round of applause, please, for Ms. Deepti Baduria, the Chief Strategy Officer, Hive Minds. And now I'd like to ask a panelist to please join on stage. Mr. Sandesh Gupta, Director Growth, Mobile Premier League. Everybody, please put your hands together as we have a panelist join on stage. Ms. Tara Kapoor, Market Head, India Duolingo English Test, to please come forward. Ms. Wanda Farao, the CMO from Wow Skin Science, to please join us on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together as we have a panelist join on stage.
Good evening, everyone. Hello, panelists. It is my pleasure to host this discussion today. We're all here to understand more of content marketing, contextual advertising. And at Quoraverse, I think it's a great opportunity for us to connect with industry experts and see how marketers are using content and context for creating enriching brand experiences. With that, I want to start this discussion with my first question, which is, it is also an eye-opener with, because all three of you represent great brands and very, new age brands. So how are you using contextual marketing in your campaigns currently? You can start, yeah.
Sure. I think contextual plays an important role. It's a part of the the overall media mix that whatever you're doing, right? For any brand which would like to scale and would like to create that trust and everything in the market, I think you need to take help of platforms which are primarily built on the contextual or the content part of things. At present, obviously, like for MPL, we are doing a lot of top of the funnel campaigns, middle of the funnel campaigns, bottom of the funnel campaigns. And I think Contextual also plays an important role to build that kind of a brand advocacy and build that kind of a brand awareness into the market, and help us out in getting the final conversions as well. Because I think it's not specific to, obviously, like I represent for a gaming company, but I think previously when I was also working for some D2C or e-commerce brand, they're also like wherever you need some kind of a research, some kind of an understanding about, whether this product is good or maybe the company is good or bad, because generally, a startup has to build that kind of a overall persona also into the market, that we are legit and there's no fraud or something like that. So it helps in all the pieces, right? To grow your product, to grow your business, to grow your brand name as well, your brand awareness as well. And I think this is how I think we're utilizing all these contextual platform to build that kind of awareness into the market.
What about you, Tara?
Awesome. For us, I think our product, one, is a disruptor in a very old traditional category, right? So, and it's a very niche audience for study abroad, right? So you're trying to find a needle in the haystack, and you're trying to find them at a point when they're searching for how they go about this process, right? So the timing of it is everything, right? So you need to, one, target the consumer based on exactly what they're looking for. So for some of our consumers, our price point makes a difference. For some of them, it's trust and credibility that this is a product that's accepted, across the universities that they're applying for. For some of them, it's, hey, I'm on a super tight deadline. I forgot about taking this test, and I need something that will deliver the result as quickly as possible, right? So and these are just a few examples. There's 100 different messages for the different kind of student that you're looking to target. And context is everything in those cases, right? So for us, one, identifying the problem that the student is putting out there. What is the solution we can provide, and how do we communicate that message? Because if I communicate the wrong message to that consumer, I've missed an opportunity, and that's that one student that I'm trying to hunt for in that mass of consumers out there, especially in a market like India. So for us, we've built it in a manner where it's around a very hyper-targeted key search, and then making sure the right creative is going to the right consumer. So it's 90% of what we're doing on the marketing front.
For you, Wanda, it's a product where highly involved and also a very experimental product, and you are a new age brand. So for you, how is it different or same when you think of context and content for your campaigns?
See, there are pros and cons. Contextual marketing is when there is an intent, right? You're going out and you're searching or researching for a product, service, or something you don't know. In our case, shampoos and conditioners are what people typically buy. So there is not much of a thought which goes into it. However, what we see is in certain kinds of, I would say, science-first spaces or brands which we have, for example, active cosmetics, right? That is a path where we can actually educate the consumers. For example, you're using kojic acid on your face, or using niacinamide, right? Those are not frequently used things. So people typically go and search for information. And contextually placing yourself in those places where people are searching just makes all the sense. And I think it's a very seamless way of doing things. And in today's time and age, I think contextual marketing is really, really picking up, because it's far more organic and less intrusive. And we know what's happening with cookies right now. There's a huge movement towards, So therefore, where user behavior, when you place ads based on past metrics to see, and therefore you see an ad, it could be intrusive. For example, there are so many times when we've searched for chicken recipes and we've seen treadmill ads, right? I mean to say, it's not really. However, when I'm a runner, so when I go to sites to see how to improve my pace, and I see, for example, a Nike ad there, then it makes all the more sense. So I think contextual marketing is here to stay, and if it done well, it can really yield benefits.
Got it. So for you are saying when there's a new age product or where there's no awareness, it's playing a role. However, now for, let's say for Tara, your product has a very long search cycle. And very few customers to actually buy. And for you, it's a gaming product, right? So it's almost an impulse category. So for both of you, how is it different? Because it clearly says, and when you don't know, it's a new product, there is a lot to research. But with long search cycles, or when no search cycle, how is it playing a role?
Yeah, I think for us, search has a massive role to play, and how you sort of put that in what that consumer is looking for is essential for us, right? So it's a little bit of what you were talking about when it comes to I'm looking at which universities are accepted, or what is the score. Can I place my advertising on that communication, or can I first have an article that talks about where I'm accepted, what the test does, what are the benefits, why is it better than the other products out there, and then place the ads along with that, right? So I think that helps us a lot. And for us, we have to find the multiple touch points, right? So when somebody starts that journey, they first want to understand what the process is to study abroad in the first place, right? So what is the editorial guidance you can give there? As they go ahead in that journey, this is just one part of that entire process, right? So a lot of our communication is get this out of the way, right? Like finish this off, check that one out of your 100 things off your checklist, and do it in the easiest, most convenient manner, right? So we try to push ourselves as a brand that is there to help. And we know that we're one piece of that entire pie in a very stressful journey for a student. So we try and provide as much information about the entire journey, and then we become that brand that's helping that student as well as providing them one thing on their checklist.
Okay. So what you are saying is as much as possible through the journey.
Yeah.
What about you, Sandesh? Because there is no journey. I mean, click
True.
and buy, and click and start playing.
Yeah, so I think fortunately we are good over there, because obviously we are in the market for real money gaming. So people obviously come over there to play and to win money. But I think the challenging part over here is the fraud, right? Because I think you have to obviously be on top of all the things whenever you're seeing something like a fraud, because that is one of the thing which all the real money gaming companies generally deals with, right? And obviously, like, even if there is one single fraud in a day, right, people just go here and there and start talking about it. So I think for us, all this contextual platform plays that role, right? That to go there and to talk about that, how we are taking care of all these fraud things, how we are providing a safe or a fair play environment, because otherwise it's very difficult to build that kind of a trust in this gaming industry. So it's a little different game for us, because we don't, I think, as I mentioned, I think we are fortunate enough that we are getting a good amount of user influx, but to deal with all that negativity, because obviously you will do all the things, right? But obviously this industry is like that fraud has to happen, right? So how you can control it and how you can create a positive awareness about it is something where I think the content and the contextual is playing a role. And I think if the content is something like if there is an article which talks about all that thing, and you are then saying and going upfront that how you are different, right, from whatever is happening, right, is basically give you an edge, right? Is basically creating that kind of a trust value for your users and giving them a better experience in that front. So I think that one typical thing is basically is helping us for our retained users, or for even for the new users who are coming into that journey. So removing that fear of fraud and that piece basically.
Okay. So what you're saying is diminishing the fear and building trust is where you are using. Interesting. So Quora as such has very good content, and also now the content creators are verified. So the content is also good. So can you all give me one example each of how you are using Quora in your campaigns? We start with you, Venda.
So we traditionally we've always seen Quora as a channel where we can do more, because it is also about new regimes, new products, new treatments, and whatever is breakthrough. However, the business, the BPC business is very visual intensive, right? I mean to say, typically what do? You see an influencer using your product and skin becoming brighter. You see ads, you see YouTubes, right? Typically video-based platforms are where you see visually captivating content, and Quora being a text focused one has always been a challenge. That being said, I've seen Quora having a lot of interesting formats right now. It's natively done where ads also have videos. It may not be as visually enriching as other platforms we currently use, but I see steps have been made in that direction. So specific use cases are for that will be when science-led products, right? Innovation products is where people spend a little more money, and I think evidence-based or claim-based advertising makes a lot of sense. And therefore, when you have certain claims which are, static claims or doctor-driven, manifestations or advocacy, I think in those kind of use cases, Quora can be a medium for us to use.
Okay. What about you, Tara?
Yeah, I think for us it's a bit of the opposite, right? For us, text-based actually has a massive role to play because we're a product where positive word of mouth and referral plays a massive role, and coming directly from a student's perspective is actually the best way for us to, build that trust, right? So we are a product category where, because we're so transactional in that consumer's journey, you will very rarely see a student be like, this is a great experience, because they're expecting it to be a great experience. But the student that's had an invalid score is the first one to go out and complain, right? And a lot of the cases is, it's a high-stakes test, you've probably not followed the rules, which is why you've gotten an invalid score. But for a student, they're not thinking about that, right? They're like, I have a deadline to meet, and I will rage about this on the internet. And they will ask questions, and they will post it across all these platforms. And what we've seen, especially on platforms like Quora, is when you have these long threads, you will eventually have a student who's had a positive experience share their perspective. And a lot of the times, we just promote those responses, right? We promote the ones which are positive. And these are testimonials that have just, we've gone through the platform and identified that. But through that process, Quora has excellent SEO, right? So for us, when you see it popping up high on search, it really helps us build that positive word of mouth and trust for our product. So we've actually started getting into a process of building our own response as well in these threads. So we become more accessible as a brand, and we're having a conversation with the consumer, right? So as soon as they raise their complaint, we drive that back to our consumer support, and it builds our authenticity as well. So we're having a conversation, and I think that's a great way to use Quora as a platform. It is a two-way street with your consumer.
Got it. So you're saying building on the conversation, which is organically popping up.
And then boosting, right? So you use it from both aspects.
Got it. What about you, Sandesh?
I think 3 buckets. One, I already talked about fraud, right? I think over there also the winning factor for us is the same user who is creating that kind of a noise, right? And when things are getting sorted, he's again coming back and, editing the content. So I think that's something like a win for us and basically creates that positive, for the brand. The other 2 buckets are primarily, one, whenever I think you're planning to launch any new game, so in gaming community, it's also about that, what's coming next, what's happening, and, you need to create that kind of a buzz in that community. And I think beautifully we are using these platforms to, create that kind of a buzz that, something is coming soon and what you can expect more in this quarter, in the coming quarter, or in this month, or whatever, like in the week. Even in the existing games, what new things, we are going to, feature, or, something on those lines. So I think that is again very engaging and very enriching for our community to to go through that content. And obviously I think, as Vinda mentioned, that video is something very early for Quora, but I think still content consumptions are happening over there whenever people are searching, and with the help of great SEO, those things are coming up. Third, I think for us is because the industry and the community that we are having is primarily also little hungry for winnings, and they always look for the tips and tricks, so that if I am and obviously video content works really better for that. But again, I think there is a audience who would like to also go and read about it and try to understand how I can do those things. So I think a content building on that perspective is also helping us a lot. So I think these are the 3 areas. I think one, fraud. Second is, I think, anything new, and third is how I can improve my gaming skills or enhancing my current way of whatever I'm playing. I think a lot of content is going in that perspective and to the community.
So what I hear is in various formats, how Quora is helping you is helping out with the deep content, which is about the brand, and B is building on the community, in both in terms of helping out with answers, questions, and building credibility, and also the newness, what you talked about. So all three of you represent three very different brands, but I'm very sure that there's one thing that unites all three of you, and that is your focus on metrics and attributions. So whether you are advertising for skincare or gaming or edutech product, you will be very clear on what is your marketing dollar returning to you. So when it comes to contextual marketing, what matrices are you using? And how are you using to attribute, or what do you think is the right way to attribute the success to campaigns? We can start with anyone, Sandesh. Yeah.
I think yes, numbers always is the first thing when you do marketing and when you are primarily doing that growth or performance role. I think for us, as I mentioned, if you're looking Quora as your last click or your bottom of the funnel kind of a campaign, obviously it's not the right measurement, right? It primarily plays a role in the user journey, and if you're looking directly from the angle of conversions and all such things, generally I think there you will not find a lot of value. But again, I think that is not the right way of looking into it, right? For us, the way we look primarily is a data driven model, or you can say how Quora is playing its role, whether it is somewhere in the journey, or be it first click, be it middle of the funnel, or wherever, right? So there are two things which we are doing. One, obviously, with all the tools like GA and all, we've set it up in a way that it gives an equal weightage, or like weightage attribution to the platforms. So we can at least say that yes, this is helping in some way. Internally also, we have our own tools where we do a weekly check on the different platforms and the money you are spending and how exactly these tools are helping. And primarily what we have seen is that Quora plays an important role in the middle of the funnels, right? So the final attribution, whenever you're seeing that, okay, it is finally converting through your UAC campaign, your Google search campaign, or even your meta campaigns, whether there is any touch point with respect to Quora, right? So that is one thing that we always check. Second is, I think the direct metric is more about the traffic, the kind of the traffic you are getting on the pages, because obviously you can do certain kind of hyperlinks, and people can go from from Quora to your website or to your apps, right? So I think that is a important metric for us, and how you can measure the quality is more about the traffic which is coming. How are the attributes for that? Basically, it's the same thing like your bounce rates, your engagements, and everything. So I think typical matrices over there, but I think the key matrix for that is this: you look for traffic, you look for its quality, and to support that this platform is working, you also look for your attribution with respect to where it is coming in the journey of the final conversions. So I think very simple, these two things we are always look, and then obviously you can look for other 10 things that you are looking for in case you're doing any deep dive.
Okay. So you are saying you are looking at the touch point in the conversion journey.
Yes.
That is one, and second is the quality of traffic that is coming to
Yes.
Quora. What about you, Tara? What are the matrices you are using?
Yeah, I think similar in the sense that, obviously just looking at broad clicks doesn't help, because you can generate high volume of clicks, but what we look at is quality and qualified registrants, right? So to register for our test is free. Obviously once you register, you then go into the payment process. So anyone can register, right? So we have a metric where we look at what a qualified registrant is, and that's somebody who has high intent to study abroad. That's the baseline. So the volume of quality registrants that we get per platform is something that we measure. And again, that falls into the mid-funnel kind of a metric. The other part that we will measure then is the cost per qualified registrant, right? So which platform is helping us bring that cost down is obviously a platform that we will prioritize more. Beyond that, for top of funnel, it's very hard to, this is the marketer's biggest challenge, is where do you attribute your metrics to, right? So we try not to split that across our platforms, but we look at our priority regions, and we do brand awareness measurements to see how we're measuring up to competitors, or how we're measuring up to ourselves in previous years. And that helps us on the top of funnel. And then obviously at the bottom, it's conversion, which again, it's hard to attribute to specific platforms because there's so many touch points for that consumer before they finally decide to make the purchase. But for us, we try and look at it as a sum of all parts, and obviously conversion is our end goal. But qualified registrant, I would say, is the core one we would look at per platform.
Okay. For you, Venda, it is more about the information
Yeah.
dissemination.
So I mean to say
how's my-
skincare isn't that complicated, right? I mean to say Quora also is a place where you come and you seek information, you digest the information, you make a concerted choice. So the use case I would feel is relevant is the middle of the funnel where you're actually helping build consideration or why to use the product, and also in evolved categories. I mean to say there are cheaper options to do top of the funnel in terms of awareness. Say for example, this is my Nature Derma, for example, is a brand which is in active skincare. There are cheaper, I mean to say funnels, channels to be able to do that. But in terms of consideration, right? So I'll tell you a synergy is we use influencers as a medium to speak about the product, the usage, to see before, after, to see the benefits of it. So I think some part of it can also be done by Quora, where people are anyways actively seeking, and with contextual ads there you can actually take it one step further. But however, from there directly to actually, even if I link it and see how many are coming to my website, I don't think there will be a huge amount of traffic per se, because clicks will not really happen there. What actually can happen is people who are interacting with the Quora ads, that cookie pool, we can actually set up a retargeting ecosystem to be able to then take them to the next step forward, because then you will show ads which will help make that transaction. Quora is not a place where you actually do transactional ads like offer ads, right? You have to do educative ads. So then with the cookie pool, you actually retarget with other set of ads. So then the attribution is easier. That being said, it's a long-term thing in terms of building consideration. So what metric would immediately move? I don't think anything will immediately move to have a direct attribution. It's a funnel. I mean, it's similar like lead generation, right? Over a period of time, maybe you can see in terms of your track how it's moving, and maybe basis the money you deploy, you see how many qualified leads would lead to better transaction. But over a period of time, immediately, it'll never be a last click medium for sure.
Got it. So what you're saying, since it's a content platform and the context develop over the period of time, so it is not right to maybe immediately measure, but it is definitely enriching the customer funnel experience through the funnel, therefore giving better returns when it comes to conversion.
Like to add one thing that we have done with Quora, I think, in one of my company is, I think, because obviously you have to show the value, right? You can talk about all these things, but how you can show that value, right? So we have done a small pilot where I've just enabled Quora in one location, right? And the impact that it has, basically what we have seen is primarily how it has helped in improving the conversion rate of other channels, right? So that is also one thing that you can see, right? Like, for example, you're doing some content or some kind of a publish, for creating that kind of a consideration on Quora. And finally, people who are searching and, finally purchasing those things is and again, you can do a A/B, you can do post and pre-analysis, right? And we have clearly seen a lift in terms of a conversion rate on our Meta, on our Google platform. So I think that is also one thing. Obviously, it's not direct, but an indirect pilot you can do and try to see whether there is any uplift or not.
So you're saying since the customer pool is same and the customer is omni-channel, so the goodness of one content platform is getting passed on to other conversion on other platforms. Very interesting.
This helps us in boosting that conversion on other channels.
Got it. So since we are at now on the topic of value, I'll ask a question again, very close, must be very close to your heart, which is about the cost, the budgets. So there is, there's whole investment in creating content. And then there is this whole expectation or another expense in distributing content. Okay, and irrespective of how good your content is, you cannot rely on organic only to disseminate to the right audiences. So how do you make this call between, what to spend on creating and how much to then spend on distributing? You can start with Venda.
This is a really long topic. I mean to say, typically rule of thumb is for bigger ads, right? Whatever you spend on the ad creation, the broadcast would at least be 4 or 5 times of what you've spent on that, and that's how you would believe that you've really, vetted the asset. But in today's time and age, when you're making, for example, a banner ad or a static or a GIF, right? It doesn't really cost a lot. But you also run it in campaigns which run forever because they will be best performing campaigns, right? And how do you actually take a call? like no one will take it out from the ad set because I'm going to say it's working, right? Why do I disrupt something which is perfectly working? So I think in terms of top of the funnel ads, there you can have a rule of thumb where it is 1:4, 1:5. But your everyday, promo ads which actually help you bottom of the funnel, which help you get transactions, it's very difficult to assign certain things.
Attribution, okay. The cost of
the
distribution.
cost to it, and it's also depending on category, right? I mean to say there are categories which are always on. For example, BPC or food, right? I mean to say they are monthly purchase. It goes, so you have to be always on to be relevant to these consumers. So through the funnel, you'll have things which are always on. Then campaign based, basically basis seasonality you'll change it. But I mean to say, if it's perfectly, it's working, why do you change it? So there is always a call which you take basis industry, basis time of the year, basis campaign. I don't think there is one size fits all.
Okay. Anything, any of you want to add?
Yeah, I think the 80-20 rule is sort of what we follow in principle, which majority of our budget is going towards media and distribution, but then you do have mediums that fall in the middle, right? Like, where do you attribute an influencer, right? Because they're both a distribution tool as well as creative, production cost, all of that, right? But so I think for us, we do broadly fall in that 80-20, but depending on campaign periods or what you're trying to develop, is there something that you're doing in a different way, etc. But yeah, I think essentially pretty much the same.
Same for you?
Similar, yes. Okay. I think nothing changed for us, but I think right now what I'm seeing is like platforms like Google, Meta and all these are so advanced, right, that typically optimize for what, like your either CAC or for ROAS, right? And it's not like 5 years back when you try to add creative to see whether this is going to work or not. It's more about you add creative and you need now more creatives. Like it's not like only one creative which will go, right? So you need 20 plus creative. It's more responsive. It's it's very dynamic in nature now, right? So you cannot have that kind of a thing that you were doing 5-6 years back, right? And at current scenario, I think it's more optimized with the kind of algorithms that they have. You never know what kind of creatives will be picked, and it will be very different for very different channel, right? So you cannot, again, I think as both Tara and Vanda mentioned, it's very difficult, right, to define that, okay, this will go and I have to, promote this unless what I think you are putting a lot of money to create that, and then you need that kind of, distribution for that particular piece. Rest, I think for BAU or for performance or for growth, I think it's more about just adding and seeing what is working on what platform. So there is no, I think, very simple, straightforward answer for that.
Got it. So 80-20 generally, but hard to define. So now I'll ask, this is the last question. I think we are running out of time also. This question is very close to my heart because as Hive Minds, we work with so many different brands, marketers, and we become their extended teams. But when it comes to content or contextual marketing, now there is a new I would not like to call it a problem, but there's a new issue which is getting created. One is already marketing teams are, performance team, brand team, PR team, and now there is a content team which comes in, and then there is an agency team, and all the teams work their best in their own silos. However, content is, pervasive. Like we are using interchangeably ad and content. Right. So when it comes to integrated marketing plan, it becomes really important that every piece of content makes sense and talks to each other. So how do you manage to make the teams talk to each other? Like how do you plan integrated teams for you to be really able to, ace the contextual marketing game? Tara or Vanda, whoever can start.
See, that depends on culture right now. So silos does happen. This is your JD, my JD, and everyone is working in their own walled cities, as we call it. But if the objective is bigger, right, and I mean to say everyone moves to a certain goal, I think it's easier. That being said, yes, everyone should have a JD, but I mean to say when it comes to an idea, right, there should be nothing stopping a team from either placing that idea on the table or picking it up. I'll give you an example. Contextual marketing, yes, you all remember the same time last year there was this viral trend. Contextual, yes, because it was just looking like a wow, right? So there was this thing which happened, this lady in East Delhi who said, so beautiful, so elegant, just looking like a wow. Now that is contextual marketing, yes, because there is wow associated to it, right? And who gave us this idea, right? Literally, there was this agency who was working with us, and they track and they say, this is going to become big, this is going to become big. So there were these early, signals. And obviously there was skepticism, like how will that gross piece of content even, But it was such a good idea. And can you believe, so it came from the agency, and then my social media team with the agency, they parked themselves outside that lady's house for 3 days because all the other brands had made a beeline already. And then he said, no, this is contextual, now it's becoming big. And then it became so big, right? And the founders were involved, investors were involved, and like, kya chal raha, you're making it big. And we're like, yes, but she should talk to us, right? But it was the agency who actually came with us to Delhi and the social media team who then convinced the lady, and they shot, right? And then they attributed it to WOW in a very interesting way because scripting, production, everything had to be done. It happened in 3.5 days. And that also became big because organically it was really very, very seamless. So I think if you build a culture where every idea is a good idea and people come together to execute it, I don't think there will be silos.
Yeah, I love that. I love that example. I think it's amazing. For us, we're primarily a remote organization, right? So one is we're lean, so we don't have so many different segregations, which I think helps. The other is because we're remote, the time we get together is very precious, and we tend to over-communicate, right? So I think it's essential. I mean, we're in the business of communication, right? So you need to over-communicate between each department in terms of what's going on and how you're planning to put that message out, and tie everyone together with that, right? So it's kind of that, bandmaster and sort of keeping everyone playing the same tune. I think that's helped document everything, keep everyone on track. The basic hygiene, I think, of keeping everyone on the same page. And if internally you're able to do that, you can then translate that message to your agencies as well. And that makes a pretty streamlined process for us. The challenge that we have, though, is we're multiple products under the umbrella of Duolingo, right? And how do you communicate similar messages across products is something that we're trying to identify, because we have this amazing brand halo of a brand like Duolingo, but we're trying to build awareness for something like the Duolingo English test, right? And how do we work together across products is something that we're trying to build and leverage across each team, because that's where you have duplication.
Okay, so the power of idea or the power of project management. Any other secret that you are using for integrating the teams? And then we'll wrap.
I can definitely relate with these two things. I think two more things for us. I think one is, again, common to all the business, which is transparency. Because what I've seen that when you're working with agencies and, your extended partners, you discuss a lot internally, but, the same thing you are not able to communicate to the team sometimes, right? And I think that creates a difference of opinion and, sometimes what you are expecting not coming out. So I think that is one key thing that I always, follow in my day-to-day routine, that I used to provide that kind of a transparency that whatever we are discussing internally, it should not be like, whether you want to execute it, you don't want to execute it, should be communicated to the team in a manner that they should also understand from where we are coming, right? That if you're not doing this, there is a reason. It's not like I just said, okay, let's not do it, right? So I think that is one fundamental or the key principle that I generally follow. And I think related to the industry that I am, we were talking backstage as well. It's more about the legalities of the things, right? So, like, I take care of the US business, and I think you cannot just go and talk about anything on the content or on the creative. So for us, I think marketing, agency, and then there is a legal department from which, we have to take a green, and then only we can go out, right? So I think that's an additional step, and I think a very important step, because the segment where you are in or the industry where you are in, I think requires that kind of a person who can just oversee the things so that you're not facing such any issues in the
So you're integrating the teams with the power of fear then. Okay, fine. So I think different things for different people, but it all comes together. So I had a wonderful time talking to all of you. I think Time's Up has been there for more than 5 minutes, so it's time for us to wrap up. Thank you so much for a lovely conversation.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it up. Another big round of applause to all of them for such a wonderful session on the Marketer's Guide to Contextual Advertising. Thank you very much. Ms. Deepthi, thank you very much. Mr. Sandesh, Ms. Tara, and Mr. Vanda Farao. Thanks a lot. Up next, ladies and gentlemen, We delve into a topic that lies at the heart of building lasting brands, the power of storytelling in brand building. This session will explore how brands can foster meaningful connections and leverage community power for sustained growth. Leading this conversation, ladies and gentlemen, is none other than Mr. Amit Doshi, the Chief Marketing Officer at Britannia Industries Limited. Mr. Amit Doshi, the Chief Marketing Officer at Britannia Industries Limited, brings over 2 decades of experience in driving impactful brand transformations. While he's known for his innovative marketing strategies, he has previously led successful campaigns at Lenovo and Samsung. Mr. Amit is a champion of consumer engagement and modern brand storytelling, making him a thought leader in the industry. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like all of you to please put your hands together for Mr. Amit Doshi as he takes over the stage. Thank you.
I don't know where Samsung came from. I use a Samsung, but I never marketed it. Okay, thanks a lot. I mean, it's lovely to see such a nice and cozy setting in the middle of Bangalore. Thanks, Gurmeet, for having me here. And hopefully we'll do less of talking and more of seeing, and have some fun as we get into the evening. I think that and the idea that when we were putting this together, the idea was also to see how do we really look at what built the discipline of marketing in the first place. It was always about having a great product that fits into the lives of people, having it at the right price, making it accessible, and then telling stories that are both true, authentic, and moving, and that's what really builds brands for the long term. And what's happened is, over a period of time, as media has got more fragmented and our attentions have got much shorter, we've started to, and rightly so maybe, I don't have a strong opinion one way or the other, we've started to live inside the funnel, and it's important every now and then to just step outside and reflect upon what makes great brands. Because if one has the right message, the most meaningful message, and the right story to tell, actually the funnel becomes a lot easier for consumers to slide through. And what we've got today here is a lot of examples. That's what I've always believed in. There is a framework, but the framework exists more, I would say, as learning, as nuggets looking back, rather than having this definitive thing that we had in mind when we started on this journey, let's say about 2 or 3 years back. So what we did was we pulled out all the work that we felt was fresh internally, that has worked, more importantly. So this is not just creativity for creativity's sake, but it's creativity that's cut through, that's delivered breakthrough results. So some of it is stuff that's been consistent over a period of time, and we've just freshened up the stories. And some of it is new and different, where we're trying to challenge ourselves. So, look, these are the 7 things that really came to our minds when we thought about storytelling at Britannia. I don't think this is a framework necessarily that I prescribe, but when we looked back at our body of work, we said, okay, these are 7 things that stand out for us. And it's not that all of these 7 apply to every problem that we're trying to solve, but they have appeared every now and then in the way we work, the way we think, and the way we deploy our stories. At the heart, effective storytelling's got to solve a problem. It's got to do a job for the brand that builds the brand and effectively builds a long-term business. So the first one's learning from the past, and hopefully we'll try to bring all of this alive through examples. How do you build a culture leading narrative rather than being a mirror to the society all the time? There is a lot of possibility in storytelling that's now possible, which wasn't earlier so easy to do, and that's because of new technology and artificial intelligence, especially Gen AI. The power of collaboration. I couldn't underscore that more. Finally, how do you really modernize brands? And modernizing brands sometimes doesn't require a fancy story. It just requires a breakthrough product, and everything else falls into place. Consumers want to experience stuff. They want to interact with content. They just don't want to. They want to be a part of the story today. They just don't want to hear stories. And finally, that's the one that I believe in the most, which is, if you please just forget all the other six. There are no rules really. You've got to make your own playbook. You've got to make your own framework. And today morning I was listening to a very, very interesting video. You must, if you're interested, you can hear it as well. This was Anupama Chopra doing this roundtable with India's best directors, talking about why is the Indian movie industry struggling. And at the heart of the problem lay the fact that storytelling and storytellers have actually become marginalized, and it's become too commercial, and actors are getting paid obscene amounts, and the people who create the stories are actually struggling for existence and their voice. The first one's from Milk Bikis. Milk Bikis has been around for decades, for many, many years. And this is a wonderful example. This actually goes about 4 or 5 years back, where, and when you're building brands and helming brands which are multi-decade brands, you've got to make sure that to create new stories, you will always find some stories in the closet somewhere. And what we realized was that consumers really longed for this pack, this product called Milk Bikis, which we call Milk Bikis Classic now, but it was always Milk Bikis for a generation of consumers. And the team that was working on Milk Bikis then chose to actually bring it back as this vintage edition. And what seemed like a limited edition launch to just appease these consumers who were on social media asking for their Milk Bikis actually ended up becoming a permanent stay. And a special moment for us is when we removed the limited edition tag from the pack. And in just one state, this one brand today does more than 100 crores of turnover. One pack, one state, it does 100 crores of turnover. And that's really the proof of the pudding when it comes to really, really powerful storytelling. So let me play this. I hope, what do I need to click for that? Next, okay.
எங்க அப்பாவும் மில்க் பிக்கிஸ் சாப்பிட ஆரம்பிச்சிட்டாரு. அது ஏதோ மில்க் பிக்கிஸ் கிளாசிக்கா. எப்படி சாப்பிடுவாரு தெரியுமா?
டேய், முதல்ல இந்த பூ போட்ட பார்டர் கடிணும்.
கடிக்கிறாரு கரகரகரன்னு கடிச்சிட்டே இருக்காரு.
இத சாப்பிடுறதே ஒரு தனி கலடா.
அனந்த், ஏன் பேரு சூப்பரே.
பேரு வந்துதான், ஆனா மில்க் பிக்கிஸ் எந்த?
இப்போ வந்தாச்சு உங்க அந்த நாள் ஃபேவரட் பிரிட்டானியா மில்க் பிக்கிஸ் கிளாசிக். அதே மகிழ்ச்சி, அதே மில்க் பிக்கிஸ்.
This story was completely carved out from the rituals that consumers had adopted, which was to eat that Milk Bikis biscuit in a way that the letters of Britannia don't get broken. So where do you want to get inspiration? Look at it in your past, look at it among the consumers who've given you so much love. And then what we did was we built on that story, we created a new chapter, and we said, look, if there's so much love around the design of the biscuit and what's written on the biscuit, why not challenge that and change that completely? So we went back again, and there were a lot of nicknames. People who are familiar with the Tamil language, the culture. Again, at Britannia, that's a very special, that's very close to our hearts. We realized that there were a lot of nicknames that kids in 80s and 90s used to use, which have gone out of circulation. So we put those nicknames actually on top of biscuits, and consumers actually for the first time saw that Britannia had gone missing from the biscuit, and that created a lot of intrigue, and we got consumers to actually send their videos, parents and kids together, parents talking about the nickname that they used to be called by. So it was also a bonding moment for parents and kids together. Another hook that you can usually use is can you go against the grain of the culture? Do you want to be a mirror brand or do you want to be a magnet? And what we've done traditionally in Marigold is always zagged when everyone else is zigging. So we said, okay, everyone's trying to talk to the homemakers. We looked at where the homemakers' aspiration lay, and it wasn't. It was latent at that point in time, which was women who were educated but were not really pursuing or living up to the educational qualifications or aspirations that they have. We said, okay, can we spark a culture of entrepreneurialism and lead the way as homemakers in the country have to be seen.
रागिनी
Raise the voice.
पहचाना नहीं, मैं हूँ 20 साल की रागिनी। इवेंट प्लान करने में तुम्हें आज भी उतनी ही खुशी मिलती है ना? इसलिए मैंने सोचा अगर हम फिर से मिल लेंगे तो तुम वही सपने देखने की फिर से ठान लोगी। रागिनी इवेंट प्लानर्स के लिए अभी भी देर नहीं हुई है।
मैं रागिनी अपना सपना पूरा करने के लिए ब्रिटानिया मैरीगोल्ड हर स्टार्टअप कॉन्टेस्ट में भाग लेना चाहती हूँ। वापस आ रहा है ब्रिटानिया मैरीगोल्ड हर स्टार्टअप कॉन्टेस्ट NSTC के साथ।
This has been a brilliant initiative over the last 5 years, and we've had more than 4 million women participating as part of this initiative. And Britannia has actually done initial funding for 40 businesses, out of which 28 have become real businesses. A lot is said about, is Gen AI a fad? Is Gen AI something that's, taking away from storytelling? We actually in Britannia believe quite the contrary. We believe that generative AI and new technology is an area where we want to make a forward move, and this is actually going to supercharge our stories. Britannia Bourbon is in its 70th year. It's one of the most loved brands across the country, and actually one could argue, and I would argue with friends from the most famous chocolate brands in the country, that it was Britannia Bourbon who introduced the chocolate flavor to the country and not the bars. But what we also realized that people really love it. So when you go on social media, we saw that people are really making wonderful stuff using Britannia Bourbon. They're making their own recipes. So we said, okay, can we then provide a stimulus and use technology to actually supercharge this? And what we did was a really interesting activation. This was the first collaboration that a brand did with Google's Gemini platform in India. And what we created was this platform called Bourbonate, where you could actually just scan anything around you, let's say a dish around you, or you could upload a YouTube link, or you could scan an image and upload it. And what this special custom AI agent would do is to convert this into actually a recipe with steps using Britannia Bourbon. And what we found is people really lapped it up. So we had more than 1.5 million scans. We had 2.5 lakh recipes that got generated. And people actually converted these recipes generated by AI into actual, plated them out, and 26,000 of them went up. This is one of my favorite examples. This is how today we live in the world of collaboration. Brands are getting created, stories are being told not just by the brand, they're getting co-created with consumers, and it's a wonderful world to really do crossovers. And Good Day has always stood for moments of joy and optimism and happiness, and we stand for small joys, much like a bite of Good Day every morning. And that's what we started celebrating. And then we realized, and you can find stories in the most unlikely places. So we came across this article written by The Independent in UK, which said, these are the 100 smallest joys that people experience all over the world, and it's all common across the world. And one of them was finding a note, a currency note you had forgotten, but you wear your pair of jeans or your pair of trousers and you suddenly realize, oh, there's a note there, right? It could be just be a 10 rupee note, but it has a joy that's unparalleled. So we did this.
I got a call that said, hey, how do you think we could get cookies to sell more pants?
With Whether you're 10 years old or 60 years young, you all love finding forgotten money in your pockets, don't you?
But ever since we've gone cashless, that joy has gone missing.
That's until Britannia Good Day, India's biggest cookie brand, that's all about celebrating the small wins in life. Put their money where their mouth is.
Good Days, Guerrilla Activation, the Bank of Small Wins, and a completely new medium, Pant Pockets, as the campaign literally puts money in your pockets.
They've stuffed 10 lakhs worth of this new currency into 1 lakh pockets across Myntra's collection.
For 48 hours over 5 geographies, 400 people working on this to crumple these notes, put them in pants and have them shipped out to consumers in no time.
That's not it.
They collaborated with one of India's biggest laundry chains, YouClean and Bombay Closet Cleanse, a chain of thrift stores in Mumbai.
Now I have for Good Day's Bank Small Wins currency in our pockets in store.
Man, this Britannia really wants to get into our pants, huh?
Wait, is there a note in my pocket?
You are one of 100,000 people finding this note in their pocket.
Bro, I like it when brands do like cool stuff like this. Like TK, you're selling me something, but also you're at least trying
There's
to...
an experience. And because India loves scribbling on their currency, we scribbled on ours too.
Again, it has Neeraj Chopra's signature, by the way.
There's one single note with a 50,000 rupee cashback.
Obviously, ये नोट मैं किसी और को दूंगा जिसको मुझसे ज़्यादा ज़रूरत होगी.
A random collection of lakhs of people reached into their pockets thinking they're having just another day and ended up having a good day instead.
The medium for storytelling could again be the most unconventional. The medium for storytelling here was a currency note, and that currency note is where the agency spent the most amount of time on to really perfect it. And as you saw in the video, we had more Myntra people speaking about the story than Britannia folks. I mean, a big shout out to all the folks who collaborated with us. Sometimes the most powerful story or the most powerful statement can be the product itself. So Jim Jam, which is again one of the most loved products, we flipped the top of Jim Jam and we created this product which is getting a lot of love. It's called Jim Jam Pops, completely different. And we've always had these characters called Jimmy and Jammy who've rallied around this brand and has made this iconic. But we said, okay, but what's so special about this biscuit? I can say, hey, here's this thing and it's got an open top and a dollop. And someone at the creative agency came up with this wonderful story. And that's the point. Stories are to be invented. They're not always about being real. They said, what's the most differentiating aspect of this biscuit? Is the fact that you don't have to open it. You don't have to, therefore, use 2 hands to eat a cream biscuit. It's the most, absurd thing that one could have thought of. But this is what they really built with it.
Jimmy, हाँ Jimmy. Dear twist करने वाले क्रीम बिस्किट. पिछले 2 वर्ल्ड कप में आपने ऐड चलाए. पहले वापस लाओ 2011. फिर बोल मत. दोनों बार कहानी में ट्विस्ट आया. हम वर्ल्ड कप हार गए. इसीलिए हम 140 करोड़ इंडियंस की तरफ से आपसे विनती करते हैं. इस वर्ल्ड कप नो ऐड, नो ट्विस्ट, प्लीज. ब्रिटानिया जिम जैम पॉप बिल्कुल भी ट्विस्ट नहीं है. नो ट्विस्ट, जस्ट लिक एंड पॉप.
I hope when we talk about a biscuit that is associated with the word twist, it rings a bell in your mind. And this biscuit tried very hard this biscuit brand from competition tried very hard for 2 years, actually 2 tournaments, not 2 years, to rally behind India and to get them to win the World Cup. And India lost both times. And we really made a plea to this brand to not make an ad for this World Cup, the T20 World Cup that just went by. Thankfully, they listened to us. They didn't make an ad. And you know what happened, right? So that works. When you do the right kind of manifestation, even competition listens.
Jimmy! India! हम वर्ल्ड कप जीत गए! We broke the jinx, bro! इस बार no twist! हमारे साथ पूरे 140 करोड़ इंडियंस हैं! देख भाई देख! जिमी यार तू मुंबई में परेड देख रहा है यार. मुझे इतना फोमो हो रहा है, मैं आ नहीं पाया यार. यार जीतने की खुशी में ब्रिटानिया जिम जैम पॉप्स ने एक नया स्पेशल पैक एडिशन निकाला है इंडिया ट्राई कलर के साथ That is so cool यार Big cheers to Northwest Big cheers to Northwest यार मैं शहर से बाहर क्यों हूँ यार मुझे परेड में होना था जिमी
Sometimes stories have to be pre-thought. So the special edition pack was lined up to be released if India were to win the World Cup. And we launched it actually at the victory parade. That's the real victory parade that's happening there. And you can, as you can see, the video footage is extremely raw and in the moment. And both of our celebrities, the brand ambassadors, were kind enough to, one of them was kind enough to just rush across. Took a local train, by the way, Kunal Roy Kapoor. Took a local train, he couldn't go through the traffic, he jumped on, Varun couldn't make it, and they did this video call. All of this conceptualized in a matter of 24 hours. A lot of times, stories are about experiences, right? I mean, if you look at the content that's emerging out, it's going to become more and more interactive. So we said, okay, can we involve consumers in storytelling, and they become a part of our stories. So, you know about Milk Bikis, and a while back we said, okay, Milk Bikis has always stood for growth and nurturance, but why should the mum be the only one to do it? So we said, can we co-opt dads? And one of the things we realized when we spoke to dads was that they do want to make a sincere effort to engage their kids, but sometimes they just don't have the tools, or they don't make an effort, or make effort enough, I would say. So we said, can we make it a little easier for them, whether they're not able to do it or they're lazy? Maybe there's an interesting way to do it.
No story, na? No homework.
கதையா
இப்ப பாரு ஒரு ஊர்ல இருந்து ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணுவாரு அவ கதை பிடிக்கலன்னு ஓடிடுவா டெய்லி இதே வேலைதான்
நீங்க பேசுனீங்களா
சார் கதைனா ஒரு ட்விஸ்ட் ஒரு பஞ்ச் நீங்க எதுக்கு சரிப்பட்டு வர மாட்டீங்க
ஆஃப்டர் ஆல் ஒரு பென்சில் நீ
ஏன் நான் ஒரு மேஜிக் கொண்டா இருக்கலாமே நான் யுஎஃப்ஓ செக்கர் ராஜ்டே நான் டைம் மிஷன்
அடேங்கப்பா
அதேதான் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் பிரிட்டானியா மில்க் பிக்கிஸ் பேக்கை ஸ்கேன் பண்ணி உங்களுக்கு பிடிச்ச வீட்டு சாமான ஸ்கேன் பண்ணுங்க பிரிட்டானியா மில்க் பிக்கிஸ் இனி அன்லிமிட்டட் ஸ்டோரிஸ் தரும் பேக்கும் கூட பேக்கை ஸ்கேன் பண்ணி ஸ்டோரிஸை பார்த்து உங்க குழந்தைய இம்ப்ரெஸ் பண்ணி வெறும் ஆப்பால இருந்து ஆகுங்க அடேங்கப்பா.
So this one's a custom AI that was built, but it was built in vernacular. That was really where the challenge is. You could scan any object around you and the AI would convert that into a story using the object as a character. But you had to make it child safe. The story had to be in Tamil. It had to be short. It had to be fun for the child who's from a young age. And this was again a great example of how you combine traditional storytelling with modern tools. And again, we've seen some fantastic response, and close to 100,000 stories got generated by parents in the state of Tamil Nadu. Finally, coming to the one I that believe the most in, which is there are no rules really. You've got to be at the heart of the brand. You've got to be with the consumer, and you've got to be collaborating with your creative partners, building the trust, taking creative risks to come up with stuff that is truly groundbreaking. And this is one of my favorite examples. This was done by the croissant team, and it's a lovely snack, but it's difficult to pronounce. And the challenge that the teams were dealing with was people said, look, people don't know what to call it. By the way, this is a 100 crore brand at Britannia. We sell 100 crores worth of croissant every year, and it's growing really fast. But people don't know how to pronounce it. So the challenge was, the campaign brief started saying, okay, so how do we get consumers to pronounce it? Remember the good old Alpenliebe ad, where Perfetti did a brilliant job in getting consumers to pronounce it. We said, okay, let's flip it back. If people don't know about it, can we really get people excited about it? So what the team
मेरे लिए 3-4 क्रिस क्रॉस लिया ना, अरे जो मैं रोज खाता हूँ ना चाय के साथ वो.
So this is what the team did. They said, if you know how to pronounce it right, we'll give you 3 lakh rupees and a day's internship. And this really took off. This took off like we had not imagined. The simplest of things. More than 11 million, hardly any cost. You know what the cost of this is? 3 lakhs. Look at the engagement. And this is what I call truly entrepreneurial storytelling, because this team didn't really have budgets. this team didn't have money to actually make a funnel, which forced them to actually think out of the funnel. And this totally changed the game. And now what's happened is it's actually become a strong campaign peg, a creative peg for the team. So everything now that this team does is actually to make fun or actually play along with consumers and who are struggling to pronounce. Coming to the final one, which is our latest work for Pure Magic Stars, Choco Stars, and this is this wonderful product which is this cookie with chocolate on top shaped like a star, and we said, okay, we just need some work to announce it, and the creative agency, which is the Womb, came back with something totally unconventional, something that totally blew our minds off, and they said, the creative head said, do you know in how many ways can the human race eat Pure Magic Choco Stars? And everyone was puzzled, and they said, it's just 12, which is the 12 different sun signs, and all of them behave differently. And again, this is popular stuff we like to believe in. No one knows whether it's actually true or not. But you read your prediction, and you always feel that, oh, that person's writing about me. Bejan Daruwala knows me so deeply, right? And a lot of us from the previous generation, the younger lot may not relate to it, came up in the days of Linda Goodman and Bejan Daruwala, and it was a thing apparently then, and it is a thing apparently now as well. So we said, can we therefore create 12 stories, not one story. So this is the same old, let's have a delightful consumption shot to show indulgence, but we'll show it in 12 different ways, because all star signs are different. And this product was made for e-commerce, it's made for modern channels. So the main advertising channel was going to be Meta and YouTube and so on. So we said, okay, let's make it for that medium, but the way it gets consumed. So we made 12 stories. And I'll just play a few snippets.
Sagittarius eats Choco Stars.
The childlike way. Crusty cookie with so much chocolate. How you'll eat Britannia Pure Magic Choco Stars.
How star sign Capricorn eats Choco Stars.
Me haces derretir, mi amor. Te deslizas sobre.
The pyar bhara hue. Crusty cookie with so much chocolate. How you'll eat Britannia Pure Magic Choco Stars.
And what it's created is a lot of conversation where people are like, okay, but this is not me, this is not what my sun sign is like. Some people are saying, okay, I relate to this, I believe in what you're saying. And it's created a completely different graph and a completely different syntax for the brand, which can hopefully build the brand in the long term. So if you want to know whether you agree with what the star sign that you belong to eats Choco Stars the way we say, you can scan this code, and the playlist is available if you want to do that. Thanks a lot, and it was great being here.
Thank you very much, Mr. Amit, for that amazing presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it one more time for Mr. Amit. Thank you so much for taking us through the power of storytelling and brand building through Britannia's products. Thank you very much once again, Mr. Amit. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we'll move on to our next session. Well, as we continue to delve into the theme of trust and safety in the digital realm, it's equally important to remember our social responsibilities as well. Well, this brings us to a very special collaboration that Quora is incredibly proud of, our partnership with Access Life Assistance Foundation. Well, this partnership stems from Quora's core mission to share and grow the world's knowledge, not just online, but also through impactful community engagement. We believe in supporting initiatives that make a real difference in people's lives, especially those who are most in need. Well, tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we have a unique opportunity to hear directly from the heart of the mission. Please put your hands together, everybody, for Ms. Divyashree, the Center Manager, Bangalore, who is here with us today.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Divyashree, Center Manager at Access Life Assistance Foundation, Bengaluru. Thank you, Quoraverse, for giving this opportunity to present in this pleasant evening. I am pleased to speak with you today about Assist Life Assistant Foundation, a remarkable organization dedicated to supporting children battling cancer and their families. Founded with the mission to provide holistic care and assistance, Assist Life offers a free, safe, and comfortable accommodation for children undergoing cancer treatment, along with essential services such as nutritious meals, transportation to hospital, counseling, and educational support. The Assist Life operates across several cities in India, creates a home away from home for these children and their caregivers during their challenging journey. Our Assist Life Bengaluru Center, located in Dollars Colony, BTM, stands visual part of this mission. With 22 units, it serves as a safe haven space for children and their families, providing not only accommodation but also nutritious meals, education support, transportation to nearby hospitals like St. John's, Indira Gandhi, and Kidwai as well. Recreational activities and emotional counseling. Over the past 10 years, we had privilege of supporting many more courageous children and their families, their fight against cancer. Assist Life impacts goes beyond not just providing accommodation, it empowers family by offering emotional and psychological support, ensuring they have everything they need to focus on their recovery. The foundation also organizes activities like workshop to keep engage the children and motivate them to hope and strength they have navigate to their treatments. With the help of donors, volunteers, and supporters, Assist Life continues to transform their lives of children and their families across India, including right here in Bengaluru. It helps them to face their challenging with their courageous and resilience. I thank you for listening to everybody. So I wholeheartedly invite everybody to our center, meet our brave hearts, and explore this opportunity to volunteering and contribute this meaningful cause. We have a short video on our center.
Ball! Yes! 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 ये ट्राई बॉल था यार. चल फुट. मैं रेडी नहीं था. चीटिंग मत करा. बैठ दे. तुझे पता है ना मेरा ट्रीटमेंट चालू है तो मुझसे ना बॉलिंग नहीं होती. मैं जल्दी थक जाता हूँ. मुझे बैटिंग करने देगा प्लीज प्लीज. हाँ ठीक है जा. पर लास्ट टाइम. हाँ हाँ हाँ. नेक्स्ट बैटिंग मेरी. हाँ हाँ. विकी विकी. हाँ. चल पकड़ा पकड़ी खेले. हाँ चल चल. विकी के बच्चे कल देख लूंगा तुझे हॉस्पिटल में.
हमें लगता है कैंसर से बड़ी बीमारी कैंसर का खौफ है और खौफ की इस घर में कोई जगह नहीं. इस माहौल को बनाए रखने के लिए हो सके तो डोनेट कीजिए 8080222377 पर या फिर बस यूं ही मिलने आ जाइए.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Divyashri. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, we have another panel discussion on the topic Unlock the Power of Insights and Curiosity. This discussion will dive deep into how curiosity-driven insights are shaping brand strategies and driving growth across industries. Our panelists bring a wealth of knowledge and diverse experiences. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm thrilled to introduce the person who's going to chair this session. We have Ms. Mrinal Mathur Rajwani, the Editor-in-Chief and Managing Partner at Social Samosa Network. With a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome her on stage. And now to our panelists for this session, we have Ms. Aparna Tadikonda, the Executive Vice President, South Interactive Avenues. With a round of applause, let's welcome her as well on stage. Mr. Govind Bansal, the Head Marketing and Growth, Shopsy, to please come forward. Please put your hands together, everyone. Mr. Madhur Gopal, the Associate Vice President, Marketing, Manipal Hospitals Group, to please come forward. Ms. Reshma Jain, the Chief Brand Officer from Jiva, to please come forward. Ladies and gentlemen, request all of you to please put your hands together for all our panelists, please. Ms. Reshma Jain, the Chief Brand Officer from Jiva.
Firstly, thank you everyone. Thank you for being part of this session. I'm sure we're going to unlock a lot more insights for everyone sitting right here. So I would like to start with, I read some, so Sudhir Sitapati mentioned in his book, The CEO of Factory, that an insight is a contradiction that is obvious in hindsight. For him, insight is the soul of marketing. And starting from there, taking the cue, I would want to ask, and Aparna, I would want to start with you, what are your thoughts on insights and curiosity, and how pivotal they are in a brand's marketing efforts? And I also want to understand, how do you differentiate between data, information, and basically actionable insights?
Sure. Firstly, thank you for having me here. I think wonderful discussions, quite insightful. I loved Amit's presentation, quite inspiring. I have a lot of questions though, so I'm going to catch up with him. Let me take a step back and look at what is the role of brand marketing in today's day and age, right? In a world where consumers are spoiled for choice, in a world where there are no real differentiation between any product offerings, where the pricing is very competitive, how do you get your customers' attention, right? So the role of brand marketing in a way becomes mostly delivering experiences that Amit spoke about, and meaningful experiences, right? So in that context, curiosity and insight, right? If I have to define curiosity and insight in that context, first comes curiosity to me, because why is the question behind everything when you talk to your customers, right? Why is my consumer not buying my product? Or why is my consumer buying your product and now stopped buying? Or why is he not buying more from me? Why is he buying from competition? So curiosity leads to discovery, and your insights actually turn that discovery into meaningful conversations, experiences, that a brand marketing delivers, right? So in this context, I think we all know data is rich today. We are in a day and age where there is a lot of information. There is, data which is really complex. It is confusing. How do you actually break down this data into insights that are meaningful for you, right? So that's the challenge I think every marketer, every agency face. If I have to, we all know it is very simple that data is just information. However, insight actually will equip us to, reach out to your consumers and understand what your consumers are doing, and therefore accordingly build your marketing strategies. So that's the simple definition. But having said that, it is really complex to understand, get to a sharp insight. I actually loved what Amit had mentioned about creating experiences, right? And storytelling, power of storytelling is actually something that is a big differentiator too. How are you reaching out to your consumers through the power of storytelling? And then he gave a lot of interesting examples. And if I have to give another example of how insight is even important in the power of storytelling, we did a very interesting campaign for one of our clients, where they made a TVC with Shah Rukh Khan, right? And the entire idea was to the role of digital was to just distribute the TVC on many platforms. But then when we started looking at what consumers are talking about it, we happened to notice that consumers said the ad actually had Shah Rukh Khan in a salon painting nails to their customers who visited the salon, and threading and everything else. And there was some conversation that we came across which spoke about how they would love to get this service done, right, by Shah Rukh Khan himself. So we actually created a very interesting version of the TVC where you can feature in that entire TVC itself through Gen AI that Amit spoke about, and that's why it was very relatable. And I think some 10 lakh plus versions of TVCs were created where many women actually featured with Shah Rukh Khan in an ad where they were actually getting salon services, with Shah Rukh Khan. So these are the kind of insights that really can also give, the power of storytelling that he spoke about. And I think these create a lot of experiences to consumers. So insight could be as simple as this, where we really didn't think that from a very small insight we would create a big campaign like this. So data is data. Insights like this can produce inspiring campaigns that Amit spoke about. Yeah. So to me, that's the difference between curiosity, and insights.
Got it. Govind, I want to extend this conversation to you, and I want to understand how Shopsy is leveraging this insight. and what role it plays for in your marketing strategy overall?
Thanks, Renal, for the question. First of all, very interesting execution of the Shah Rukh Khan campaign. I think definitely
love
look it
that
up.
Shah Rukh Khan has, I think, bows and all very cutely.
It's a very simple campaign, but like I said, stemming from a very small insight that somebody spoke about that I would love to feature in that ad.
Wow.
And then that actually became real. So yeah, the power of insight.
Sounds super interesting. So before I deep dive into the question, right, let me give you a quick context about Shopsy. We are a hyper-value e-commerce platform. We're part of the larger Flipkart group, and we're a horizontal marketplace, right? And for the TG that we focus on is women who are very value conscious and largely from T2 cities and beyond. So as a practice, we talk to our consumers a lot. We have this continuously. We have these focus group discussion, one-on-one interviews, because that's most of the people working on the project may not be able to relate with their lives with the TG as much. So we try and have immersions as much as possible. And while talking, some very interesting things come up, right? Like we say, being a hyper value platform, we take pride in saying, you know what, 100 rupees mein hamare yahan kurti milegi. And you get a vegetable chopper for 50 rupees, and we often wonder, I mean, like, it's such a low risk thing. I mean, what's the big deal? Just come try us out, right? And we keep talking to them. Interesting things come up, like one lady basically came and told us that it's 50 rupees. But what will happen is, in case the product that comes is incorrect or it's bad, तो घर वाले सोचेंगे कि इसको तो shopping करनी नहीं आती, right? So that social validation that is so important for them, right? While 50 rupees may not be a big deal, right? But being the fear of going wrong and being called out for it becomes very important for them, right? So. So these small insights of social validation, and especially from people that they're closer to them, right? Like the family members, maybe their neighbors, they want to take pride in the decision that they're taking. So we try and inculcate that and use that insight in our campaigns. And we recently launched a campaign called the Shabash campaign, right? Where the entire fact is that I shopped from Shopsy and I got a Shabashi from the people that are around me. So it's very important, right? Because as a marketer, like a marketer or as a business lead, what you'll think, okay, there are only so many levers that will okay, you can do more marketing, more performance marketing, or maybe you'll end up reducing your price. You'll say, why are numbers not moving? So this trust and making sure that people, what they see is what they get, is very important for them, and it's important for us to build trust and not just other vectors. So overall, it's really helps going inside deeper into our customers.
Trust me, that's a very nice insight, because every time I know if I send something to my parents and that hits the right spot, what they needed is there, that link goes to 10 different people. So that becomes like it's a validation that she approves, and if she approves, then it's going to the entire society. So that is a valid thing that happens, and I think
we'll try harder to get your approval. Continue doing that.
Madhur, I spoke to you earlier, and I remember you mentioned that educating customers is something which is a priority for you, because you just don't want to just sell your products, but you want to educate them. So how do you leverage insight when it comes to alongside like educating them, because at the end of this you have to make some decisions out of it?
Yeah, so being a healthcare brand, when people go to hospital, I mean, let me touch. For a hospital, we deal with birthing till end of life care. So it's a variety of services what we have to offer. And the emotions are very different at each kind of service which we are offering. So that makes it a little more challenging, when we go ahead and touch with the patients. To this, if you really see, most of the patient when they come to the hospital, they don't know anything about that procedure, right? And that makes things little more complicated, because when I go to buy any phone or any other product, I have done a lot of research, so I know exactly what to expect when I go to the showroom. In hospitals, it is very different, because when the patient goes there, they don't know what doctor is going to tell, and if they tell any procedure, then what to expect. Now patient is waiting there, and he was not knowing that this was part of the routine. So for a hospital, it's part of routine, but for that patient, it's first time, they have never experienced, and no one has really told them about that. So that's where I think we feel there's a lot of kind of gap in between what patients should know and what they actually know, right? So now getting from that, insight, what we really want to do, and there are two parts. One is when the patients are exploring where to go, so there is some education required over there. And what we realized is that when patients are looking for, say, some hypothetical examples I am taking here, when patient has to go for an angioplasty, for example, right? How do they differentiate from one hospital to another? Today, it is not about surviving, post angioplasty. It is about the quality of life post that procedure, which is more important. But this patient may not know that at all. So that was a challenge for us, and for that, being a hospital brand, whatever I write on my website, people may or may not believe it, because as an industry, we face trust deficit, So there is a problem that most of the patient, they would feel, if I go there, they are going to, squeeze my wallet completely. They'll find 10 different ways. So how do you really go ahead and educate this? So that's when we started going and talking to Practos and many other neutral aggregator platforms. Can you go ahead and educate these patients that what are things they should look when choosing the hospital for this particular thing, right? And that's how we started kind of building or trying to find out what are those neutral platforms where we can go ahead and educate these people so they can take the right decision. The idea is really to educate these people. One, to take the right decision. Second is to really, educate them what to expect from that particular service or a procedure where they are getting into. So I think that's where when I was discussing with you and thing came on Quora also. So that's where we thought that why not to explore Quora, because what we want is a neutral platform where people can actually go ahead and start believing that content, what is written over there. And as a brand, we don't really mean to sell anything there, but we believe that if you give the right education, right hand holding to the patient, majority of them should choose you as a brand over a period of time. But that's where I think this whole educational piece becomes very, very critical for us from the industry perspective also. So that's probably the context in which I was speaking to you.
Okay. So, Richa, I know that we also spoke about how different insights help you understand different phases of a consumer's journey. Can you throw some light on how it has helped you as a brand, as a marketer, to understand?
Sure. Actually, I think people have talked about it earlier, but everything in a marketer's journey or a brand's journey or a product's journey is actually based on insights. When you decide what product you're going to sell, initial market fit is based on insights that the consumers come up with. Suppose, let's take the example of what I'm currently doing, with Jiva. When we decided to sell silver, it was not an organized, nobody had organized this space before that. Tanishq had done it with gold a long time ago. But silver was an absolutely relatively new space. And what made us decide that silver could still work and have a chance with the audiences is that the audience was ready at this point in time, never before in the future. We put up new pictures every day on social media. We go to work every day. We need to change a lot of our jewelry. Silver is still a precious metal, So there's value related to that metal. You don't feel it's just something that you've picked up. You feel happy to pick it up, but it's not gold. So there's ease in owning it, because we are not living with our parents anymore. It's not locked in a locker. You know, you don't keep wearing the same earring every day for years, which we used. I mean, I grew up doing that, but now you change it every time. So there is ease in ownership, there is ease in wearing, and there is a variety that you could own, unlike gold, you know, and still have something which is precious, which you could pass on if you wanted to. That joy that is related to the purchase of jewelry in a precious metal could now be done in silver. This is a very major insight, right? And it led us to create India's biggest silver brand. The same thing, I mean, you know, this is just the product journey. Then, of course, while we are selling the product, you know, when we create marketing campaigns and our current, like, you know, we've been talking about what the heart wants, it is based on the fact that jewelry is bought on the back of emotion. It is always bought on the back of joy. People justify their purchase saying it's an investment. It never is. You know, if you really want to invest, you buy SIP or you buy gold coin or gold. You do not go and buy jewelry. But you do, because it's joy based. So it really truly resonates with what the heart wants. Gifting is a huge category. Now this is when insights is everything in the whole funnel. I'm launching a brand based on insight. I'm selling the jewelry based on insight. I'm running my Facebook campaigns based on insight. Which audience reacts to what? North reacts different to South. Yeah. What kind of jewelry resonates with them? What are people talking about when they're asking for, say, there are many things, you know, when I'm doing social media, it's based on insights. What kind of influencers I use is based on insights. How my content looks, what are the keywords that I'm trending for is based on insight. I don't think any part is untouched by insights. Yeah. Any good brand or any part of that journey is only as strong as your insights truly.
Okay. Coming back to this, how an insight plays a different role when you're in different phase of a consumer's journey. I want to understand, anyone if you would want to chime in, how do you ensure that they stay relevant and timely as well? Because basis the consumer insight that you get, there is high chances that, because consumers' behavior is changing very quickly. So how do you stay relevant for that? And anything that you have to add to it, and how do you adapt to the changes in general?
Maybe if I can go first. There is no choice other than, you know, being relevant, which means you'll have to constantly keep monitoring, right? You'll have to, listen to your customers. What are they talking? What are they behaving in terms of their conversations? You'll need to continuously monitor a lot of platforms. So monitoring, real-time monitoring, I think is something that which you cannot really, avoid if you want to know about, what your consumers are saying. So that's a big thing for me in terms of how do you really monitor what your consumers are doing. And if you look at the digital eco space itself, it is so fragmented. You have so many platforms, so many opportunities for you as a brand to actually, look at touch points and, what they're saying. You could look at social media, you could look at your search behavior, you could actually, look at many such, you could look at comments on a video that is posted by some user and understand what they're feeling. The example that I gave, it actually came from nothing, just one comment, and then somebody actually went and did a, brand intervention. Then we started getting so many more comments. We said, why not, right? So the only way to do this is to continuously monitor, right? Somebody out there, I think the most important job for a brand marketer is to have someone constantly sit out there and keep listening, watching, monitoring. I think your insights are, pretty much come from there. Also, we do have a lot of data. You have data analysts today who are analyzing data. To me, I think it is both quantitative and qualitative, right? While your data gives you a lot of insights in terms of, actually when we were all catching up, I think we spoke about what insights are, because we were actually confused. What do we speak? Is it campaign insight? Is it a product insight? What does actually insight mean? And like she said, insights are across, right? So you will have a lot of insights through the funnel, you will have campaign insights, you will have which platform, what is the messaging that is resonating. If it's a top funnel, what is the kind of storytelling that I need to do, or is it about more educational content? If it is consideration, then why is my consumer watching my ads but not even clicking or not converting? Then what is the kind of consideration messaging that I need to do? And there is no other way other than testing, right? You'll need to test, experiment. Test and learn is the only thing in this current complex ecosystem that you will have to kind of do. And obviously doesn't need a lot of marketing budgets to keep testing. You'll need to test different messaging, you'll need to test different click to action, you'll need to test different destination pages, you'll need to test different communication on your landing pages. I think a lot of effort goes into all of this, and this is the only way, to me, you can stay relevant to your consumers and the insights that you can get, and you build your marketing strategies accordingly.
Got it. Madhur.
Yeah, so I'll talk more from healthcare perspective, and others mentioned that insights you have to capture at various places, but I'll just give few examples, right? So what we also do, we also capture whether through surveys or by talking to customers, or there are various ways. And this 2009 when we did a consumer voice study, and one of the thing which came out, it was surprised us as well. Being in healthcare for a pretty long time, we did not think patient will switch brand because of this particular thing. And the thing which came out was that when they used the washrooms, there were no tissue papers. So for a healthcare brand, tissue paper can lead to a brand change was something which is we could never think of, right? Because we always thought this is a serious medicine. So being relevant to them, I think it is definitely critical. In Manipal, we have a program, Manipal Patient Pulse. Every hospital, the senior leadership team, hospital director plus the functional heads, they have to talk to at least 6 to 8 patients in a month and gather insights. What is there we are missing out, what we can improve. Things comes out, what we are doing good as well. But I think, once these insights are helping us to improve our services, because the areas which as a brand we can never think of, we are getting to see from there, right? So, and a simple example, we have valet parking in almost all our hospitals, and one person came and said, boss, you guys don't have valet parking. We said, no, valet parking is there. He said, no, but I couldn't find. So the simple thing what we did was we put a board which was more prominent and people could see. That actually changed the experience of the people who were coming to the hospital, right? So this is one piece which is an ongoing kind of insight gathering process, and being in service industry, I think it can significantly elevate the consumer experience when they are coming to your hospital. However, the insights what we are looking as well now today, we are trying to explore platforms that patients, what are they expecting from hospitals. So many of the times we don't know what kind of discussions they are having. And these discussions are available today on platforms, out there. I think there should be a way that in space of, say, heart problems, or in space of ortho problems, or delivery area, what is that consumer are looking at? And if there are those insights we can capture from there, which are more in a way easy or in an automized fashion, and we can then start building services based on the consumer behavior which is shifting out there, and we start building our services accordingly. It can be services, it can be touch points as well, because it's the same consumer who uses Amazon versus who uses app of a hospital. And because app is not a primary business for a hospital, experience will definitely be not great compared to what other apps are there out in the market. But the consumer is same, so his expectation from your app will be the same what is out there. Now that may or may not be there, but that insight is important. Is this consumer expecting the same thing from you as a brand or not? And if that expectation is there, then I think brands should very well spend that money to ensure that there is a stickiness from the customer to your brand, and then you kind of continue to serve them, because for us, any healthcare brand for that matter, word of mouth is the biggest driver to get patients. So And we have seen in our Community Connect programs and in Bangalore, because many of you will be in Bangalore, in some of the communities, people will say, boss, you go to Manipal only because their services are really good. And this word of mouth, almost around 60% patient, we see come because of the validation by someone else, So I think from that perspective, yes, you are right. Consumer behavior changes. The way it is evolving because of the technology piece, the expectations are changing. So if you see old patient can wait for 30-40 minutes or 1 hour in the OPD, new kids cannot wait. And that is where they go ahead and, tell their parents or their grandparents, because where are you going? Yeah, this is not a good place. Let's go to other hospital. And this is true. I mean, this is happening today. We see these kids influencing the behavior of their grandparents in choosing the brand because of the high wait time, right? So I think it is, critical for us to see the changing behavior and then accordingly modify our offerings for our customers.
Got it. I can completely relate to what you're saying. As a patient, I've seen there's so many factors that we consider when we go to a hospital, and you won't believe a seating space for the attendant is also one of the factors that is considered. So coming back to our conversation, I would want to understand from Govind and Resha, how do you use platforms like Quora to leverage that insight, and how do you work on it? Govind, Resha, anyone?
Okay, so I'll take this first. Quora is used by us in multiple ways. Quora is a great platform to also understand what are the types of queries that people are coming up with, It is very nice to see very robust discussions and very nice questions come up, about, it could be about what brand is credible, it could be about whether, a particular kind of service that you're giving, like we give lifetime plating, So we see people question whether people have had a good experience, not a good experience. There are questions around, many silver attributes. There could be questions around lab grown now that we're doing lab grown. There are so many questions around lab grown. So there could be a lot of questions about people's behavior. There could be a lot of, we also use it, of course, to see what kind of SEO we should generate, what sort of content are people looking for, what sort of hand-holding do they require, what do they need from us to be able to convince them that it's a good choice that they're making when they buy with us. So Quora is used to actually gather a lot of insights into what are people really thinking about, what are the questions that they have, what will help them get convinced that we have what they need. There are also times that we've actually launched some services on the back of what people may be, wanting or complaining about. And that's really helped us, They want to understand, they want to test out the metal, they want to get a lot of plating services because the nature of the metal is that they will require plating services sometime or the other. So those kind of things we have taken from them. We once actually launched a whole line like that because enamel jewelry was only used in India in very traditional format. If you've seen, we've all worn that sort of stuff, but you get it a lot in Jaipur. But Indian design hote hain, motifs hote hain. But nobody was doing it in a modern format before that, in modern everyday jewelry. And we launched a whole line of enamel jewelry because of that, and it really is one of those successful lines that we launched.
I wanted to ask about that only. Did you guys launch something after going through your Quora insights?
Quora would be a part of it, but insights have of course helped us launch a lot of things. I think when we were at Sugar, Vinita has gone on record to say this many times, right? That initially, because of that fab bag consumers asking for long-lasting liquid lipstick, which wasn't in India, a whole new brand came up. Sugar was launched on the back of matte lipsticks and liquid lipsticks, and it really made a big brand.
Govind, How do
Yeah, so we haven't actively used Quora so far, but listening to Resha and some of the other conversations here, I think we're definitely missing out. Because yeah, especially given I think for high involvement categories and categories where there's a lot of research involved, I think there's a lot of gold there. I've used it personally very often, but I think for brands, especially our category teams. I think there are a lot of insights, right? Since a lot of insights that we could get from there. I would also love to understand a little bit more about how much of our TG is present there. That is something that I am unsure about, but definitely looks like we are under leveraging some really interesting stuff that's out there.
Mrinal, I would, if I can add, because we have used it, and as I was telling you earlier, that the trust deficit in the industry, so we wanted this neutral platform. What we tried doing was that, so one of the problem in healthcare industry performance ads is that whenever the patient is searching anything, say hypothetical example, I'll pick it up like TKR, total knee replacement. The ad will come to me for total knee replacement. However, in the patient journey, there is a possibility that when the patient go first time to a doctor and doctor advise a certain procedure, there is a denial mode. Patient is in denial, no, I don't want to do this, I want an alternate solution which can avoid this surgery. The problem is that hospital brand is going and saying, boss, come to me for surgery. Now the patient doesn't want surgery. And that's where this hand holding and educating the customer till he changes, because normally if you see there are 2-3 stages depending on the procedure, like in onco it is denial, anger and acceptance. So when you are, patient is moving each stage, and the duration of each stage can change from, category to category. That is where I think, and that's when we were looking in each category basis on the patient, procedure or the service, what they are looking, what kind of platforms they are going to. And that's when this Quora came up. We said, why don't we engage with Quora and see how we can value add to these patients. Though we did as a kind of POC, but it actually helped. It actually started engaging with patients, providing the right education to them and then hand holding which we were looking from multiple platform. I think Quora is one which comes out as more genuine, more neutral, because it's not a brand which is kind of talking to patient, it is people who are talking to people. So from that perspective, for a category like us, it is really helping us out. In fact, we were discussing internally, how do we really now grow on this? Because I would say we have done initial phases, but at a very small scale. The initial results are good. I mean, for a category like us, where you need to build trust, where you need to educate people in a more neutral, from a neutral perspective, I think platforms should really help significantly.
Aparna, do you have anything to add to how brands leverage?
No, I think pretty much everything is covered. Like I said, while a lot of brands use Quora for advertising, like I think one of our client Salesforce, we use your platform extensively to reach out to small businesses. But like I think Madhur was mentioning, Quora, I personally use Quora a lot, right, to talk to people and as a user. So I feel, I also feel you should leverage the platform more and have more opportunities for advertisers, right, to also unlock the platform more, because I think it's a very impactful platform to gather a lot of insights about what consumers are actually talking. And yeah, so I mean, I think I'm very I'm looking forward to seeing more solutions from Quora as well. I think it's a very interesting platform.
Great. If you have one line and you have to sum up your last thoughts on this topic, what would that be?
For me, I was just staring at that topic, unlocking the power of insights and curiosity, right? Insights is given. I don't think, marketeers in this room, devise strategies without insight, right? Like Resha has mentioned, insight is in your product, insight is in your marketing campaign, insight is in everything. But to me, what's more important is curiosity. I think Ankit's presentation I think left quite an impression on me. And when I look at storytelling, I feel curiosity leads to a lot of meaningful experiences that you can give to your consumers, and that's where your differentiation comes, right? So constantly looking at why, what, therefore what do I do, and insight obviously comes from that why. I think curiosity plays a more important role, to me, and then insight leads to that. So I feel, you need to constantly keep asking why, and I think that leads to some great insights and some great memorable campaigns for your consumers to remember. So that's what I think.
Thanks, Aparna. Govind.
Just picking up from what just Aparna said, right? Understanding and insight at a surface level doesn't help.
Yeah.
Right, you need to go deeper. Like I just said, that trust is a big problem for us, but it's also a very ambiguous problem, right? How do you solve for that? Or can I make it very easy for people to return the products? Can I put a trust mark on saying that it's Shopsy verified, Flipkart verified? There could be so many things, right? But when you keep talking to customers, we said, okay, I like ratings, I like reviews, but we kept going deeper. What really got people excited and gave them that confidence to purchase is seeing other people's pictures of sporting that outfit that they're browsing on e-commerce. Because it's not a model basically, who's always probably everything look good on that particular model, but there's another person who I can relate to who's actually sporting that outfit and it seems like genuine. Right, so it's social proof, but at a very surface level, at an overall level. But that's nuanced understanding of going why, and going deeper. That's very important. So, and that's what brings into doing something that's actionable and finally material.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, so to me, I think based on this conversation as well, I would say that insights everyone use, all the marketers use, but might be limited, for say large campaigns, or because of the time it consumes, you really can't scale up to the larger usage. And given today's world, the kind of content which is available out today, you have GMB reviews, you have people writing on Quora, you have so many platforms where qualitative information is sitting about your brand or the categories which you are looking at. I think we should move in a world where we can scale up somehow analyzing this qualitative feedback and then mass scale the power of insights, which can be used in day-to-day campaigns or day-to-day service modifications. And I think that should be the way forward if we are really looking the power of insights, because I feel that still though we use insights, but it's more on a quantitative still. You've launched a campaign, numbers are there, you do some analysis, or a qualitative, which is more consumer research studies kind of thing. There should be, way forward where we can qualitative study itself can be, scalable to large extent. I think that's where platforms can come up. Boss, Quora is here, so say Quora come back and say, boss, on your brand or on your category, this is what I can give you. Today, no one has, say for example, we don't have if I have to say any particular procedure city in India, people go for their Cosmo procedures to say, Korea. Can we make Goa, because there is a demand out there, because people are discussing about this. There are some privacy which people want to maintain. Now, if that insight comes, that can create a business for any brand. That's a vertical which can be created, I think. But that qualitative insight, mass scalability is a possible, potential in future is what I feel.
Thank you, Madhur. Resha, your last thoughts.
Well, if it has to be one line, I should just say +1 to everything that has been said. Yeah. Well, actually, honestly, to keep it really simple, I think what is effective about insights or curiosity, either one of them, is reading between the line and interpreting behavior patterns. It's very important for a good marketer to do that. It's very important for anybody who's effectively wants to do something scalable and something that works, to look at these two, because we are very good at fooling ourselves and others in trying to say that this is what I like doing, but it may be very different from what I do. And I think that's for every human being. So I think insights and curiosity should be about what behavior tells us and how do we read between the lines.
Thank you so much. Thank you all of you. It was a wonderful session. I enjoyed, and from our pre-chat to now, I think we all have discussed almost every aspect of insights and curiosity. So I hope it was a great session for the audience as well.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, everyone. Please come together for a group photograph. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it out one more time for all the panelists for that amazing session on unlocking the power of insights and curiosity. Thank you, Ms. Mrinal. Thank you, Ms. Aparna. Thank you, Mr. Govind. Mr. Madhu, thank you. And Ms. Resha, thanks a lot. All right, everyone. So next up, we'll explore a very fascinating topic on how to make airports. Airports are more than just transit hubs. They are the gateways to experiences, making their marketing both challenging and rewarding. Well, this session will dive into strategies and innovations that elevate airport brands in today's competitive landscape. Ladies and gentlemen, our speaker is Ms. Shalini Rao, the Chief Marketing Officer at the Bangalore International Airport Limited. She has been instrumental in positioning the Kempegowda International Airport as a world-class brand. Her expertise spans crafting compelling narratives, enhancing customer experiences, and driving brand differentiation in the travel and hospitality sector. Everybody, please put your hands together for Ms. Shalini Rao. Thank you.
Thank you. I was told 10 minutes. I'll try and keep it at 10 because I'm sure all your patience is running at a point where you're waiting for the next thing to come up. For a lot of you, who I hope a lot of you travel in and out of Bangalore Airport, and for a lot of you it's a far road to get to the airport, and the way we think about it is, why would an airport need a brand? And I think I asked myself that question. Let me just switch hands. I asked myself that question 5 years ago when I joined, when I was asked to come for the interview, and I said, what would you need a CMO for an airport? An airport is a monopoly business. It's a regulated business. What do you need marketing for at an airport? I'm going to try and tell you that in 10 minutes and what we've done in the last 5 years. And I think more than anything else, the important one is a lot of this. All of us who work in the worlds we work in, we take for granted. We take it for granted because we work in organizations where all this is done. And I think that's what I found interesting about Bangalore Airport when I came in. We are one of the first private-public partnerships in the country. We're 16 years old this year. And we don't think of ourselves as an airport. And I think that's where the difference starts. And it starts from, why did I put the vision up there? Because that vision is something that we all function to. We actually all work towards the vision, and we're constantly looking at what do we need to do to make that vision come alive. I'm not going to read it. I'm sure by now everybody's seen it. So what did we do 5 years ago? I'll tell you a small story. I've spent 30 plus years of my career in the corporate world, almost 20 as a CMO now. Marketing's in my blood. I love it, and I completely refuse to do anything beyond being a CMO. Asked many times, and I said absolutely not. And if somebody had to give me something and say, have fun in your career and do everything that a marketer could want to do without worrying about a lot of stuff that all of you spoke about. I've worried about month-end revenue. I have worried about performance marketing. I have worried about trial. I've worried about repeat purchase through a lot of my career. But you know what? I don't need to worry about that now. And that's why we had a lot of fun. This is what drives us as an organization. And the reason I put it up there is we don't talk about it very often, but I was just trying to give you a bit of an insight. A lot of people before me spoke about insight as to what we think about when we do everything that we do from a marketing perspective. The reason you see so many names up there for passengers, for stakeholders, for the country, is because we operate at that level. We're a public infrastructure. We have a sense of responsibility that we have for everybody out there. And so we sat down and defined about 6 years ago, what do we want to mean to each of the stakeholders that we work with? And everything that we do as a brand and a marketer, as an airport, actually talks to one of this. And this became our framework. And because this became our framework, we went one step further. Now you can't have a marketer for 20 odd years not think about some of these things. So we went back, we spoke to people. I think everybody's spoken about storytelling, insights. I think we used all of that, and read it at peace. If anybody's really interested, I can send it to you later. But there's just one line to remember, the one I've highlighted below, which is the fact that we decided we are magicians. We are magicians to create the experiences that we want everybody to go through when they look at an airport. And so, which means I want to change your perception that an airport is not just a transit point. It is a place where I want you to very actively come. We have the concept of dwell time in an airport. Every 15% increase in dwell time results in an X% increase in revenue. That's the link, and that's where at the end of the day one contributes to that revenue. But our focus was this, and this is if all of you know your archetypes, so we decided we were a magician archetype, and we went from there. Now, why did I share all this with you? Because this is what drives us. This is what drives us in terms of how we look at what we put out there. But having said that, we also decided to take it one step further, give ourselves a manifesto, give ourselves a tagline. Again, I'm not an advertised brand. I really don't need to. But this is an internal guiding principle and calling light that we have for ourselves in terms of the fact that everything that we do has to give you an experience like never before. Believe me, I've been trolled by a few people saying a negative experience is also an experience like never before. But we keep that in mind anyway. Okay, what drives us? Three big things. One, because we're a public infrastructure. We are a private-public partnership. We do, in our own way, represent the country. So therefore, brand reputation sits right on top of everything that we do. We have a line that we don't just say internally, but we mean it, which is reputation over revenue, no matter what. And that's where somebody like me gets to play that role. The second one is, all of you have probably lived through COVID. The amount of information that there is out there, the amount of misinformation that's out there, right from which quarantine, no quarantine, even today, what is the requirement, how do you get stuck, what's happening when there's fog. In a public infrastructure, there's need for information. Information is one of the biggest things we trade and put out there. And lastly, I do want you to have a good time when you're at the airport. And everything, how many of you have been through T2? It's just my favorite question to ask. Okay, almost everybody has. The reason that terminal is built and designed the way it is because airports are stressful experiences. You're usually running, you're worried you're missing something. And so therefore that water, that green, that entire atmosphere calms you down and puts you in the mood for some shopping. Okay, 4 things that we look at very categorically, and I'm very quickly going to give you just one example of each. Information, awareness. Sometimes there's new stuff going on, there's advisories, Aero Show coming up in February, you'll see us active on that. Education, Digiyatra for example, when it came in, there was a lot of education that's required. And finally, the engagement part and where I have fun with you. Don't worry about reading why I have newspaper stuff there. But sharing information, I think it blew my mind many years ago that people are so interested in how many flights take off, how many land, how many idlis do we sell, what happens. It's ridiculous, but it's true. The amount of curiosity that there is, whether it's av geeks or otherwise, who really want to know what goes on. And I guess today, with the aviation sector growing the way it is in the country, there's even more curiosity in terms of our growth. I'm just going to show you a film. This is last year, just to quickly show you how we share stuff. You don't need to see the whole thing, it's on YouTube if you do. But just to tell you that I could have sent that out as a simple note, I could have just put a post up, but we try and keep it engaging. In that video, I also talk about how many idlis and dosas we've actually sold. People find it interesting, people engage, and that's how we've grown our followers as well. This is an interesting one, which is where I think as marketeers, when we're working in industries that are probably non-specific, very different from where we are, that those principles still hold. Now, this is an actual addressing a problem that we had. We had the CISF, who does your security checks, come and tell us that there's a lot of queuing that's going on, and people are not, there's a lot of restricted items that people are carrying in their luggage. Can you find an interesting way to let them know what not to carry? Now, you've all seen those boards, nobody reads the boards. When you have the declaration check, when you do your web check-in, how many of you actually read, do you have this in your luggage or do you not? And if you do have one of those in your handbags, you hold up the queue. You hold up the queue, you cause a lot of issues. There's a lot of delays, people start getting irritated. We use the power of collaboration here a little bit and said, how do we do it in an interesting fashion? So we spoke to Shraddha, other than all the other, let's say, methods of communication we did, and I'm going to let you.
I missed my flight. Come back, pick me up. I'll tell you, you come. Security check took forever. I was in the worst queue. Worst queue. Why? Someone was wearing the same clothes as you. No, my cabin bag was flagged. Okay, that's a 5-minute delay. Behind 6 other bags. Ooh, tell me the flash bag. This first guy had a nail cutter. When will people understand? Prevention is better than manicure. Not funny. Then this lady had a bottle of honey in her bag. Sweet. So then did she drink all of it? Bottoms up? A bottle. Arey, my mama drank an entire bottle of ghee at the airport because they wouldn't allow it. We didn't know he was a human Mysore Pak. Huh? Mysore Pak mama. Then a jar of chili powder wasted some time. Yeah, because the masala on the onboard masala chai is never enough. And how many times they'll tell you, keep your chargers and power banks outside your bag, but there will still be somebody who doesn't do it. Yeah, because buri nazar is a thing, yaar, evil eye. Anyways, what did they find in your bag? Umbrella? No. Hair straightener? A lighter. Huh? Lighter? So just, I think we can use all our skills to put some of these messages across in a way that people actually find interesting. And we did see the results on ground. So sometimes we look at the obvious metrics, but the metrics are also what the problems are asking you to solve for, and insights in a manner of speaking. Are we echoing? No. Not going, I'll quickly run through this one, but just a similar way of putting education out by talking about DigiYatra, telling people what to do. When COVID happened, we did the contactless boarding, which you won't believe it, for a brand like us, it was a big one. We got some 7 million views on YouTube because nobody knew how to use contactless boarding at that point in time. So these are just interesting things that we do, let's say, par for course in all other businesses, but pretty much we use as well here. I'm not going to, I'm just going to jump. The last one is the one that I think we're the proudest of, UGC completely. It's amazing the bank of photographs I have today, because we started 2 properties, which is BLR Lens, as we call it, and also Guess the Airline. People just send us the most incredible photographs. I mean, you will be amazed how many photographs people click and send us. It's a great bank for us to have. When we're running short of social media posts, we want to even encourage more. We've had airlines join us and collaborate. So just I could go on and you all will throw me off because I think we've done some really interesting things. National Geographic to do superstructures. We've just created an anthem for ourselves with Ricky. So I think if you're a marketer in your mind and you've decided that this is going to be a brand, irrespective of whether it's a monopoly or a regulated business, you can genuinely have a lot of fun. And I think it shows in the partners that want to work with us, the kind of people that want to collaborate, the fact that Gurmeet asked me to come and talk to you. I think it's all a sign of that. So, yep, that's it. Thank you.
All right, everybody. So as we celebrate achievements and innovative approaches tonight, so now it's time to recognize those who have excelled in the campaigns with our most impactful campaigns on Quora. Well, this segment highlights our outstanding contributions to the digital marketing landscape. Ladies and gentlemen, now to present the first set of honor rolls, I'd like to call forward Mr. Amit Doshi, the CMO of Britannia Industries Limited, to please come forward and do the honors. Our first honor roll, ladies and gentlemen, for the most impactful campaigns on Quora goes to, please put your hands together for Amazon Global Selling. Right, ladies and gentlemen, this is for Amazon Global Selling. Well, they've created a business profile and promoted content every month in order to educate all the aspiring sellers to go global. Well, this led to massive engagement for the brand in the seller community on Quora. Congratulations, team Amazon Global Selling. Let's hear it up, everybody. Another round of applause for them, please. Next honor roll goes to Berlin School of Business and Innovation. We have the team? Yes. Please put your hands together, everybody, for Berlin School of Business and Innovation. Well, they leveraged image ads to drive leads and increase admissions of students wanting to study in Germany. Let's hear it up, everybody, for Berlin School of Business and Innovation. The next honor roll goes to Salesforce. Do we have the team from Salesforce here? Everybody, please put your hands together for teams from Salesforce. Right, so Salesforce has leveraged Quora's B2B community targeting with image ads on healthcare, auto, retail, education, finance, and manufacturing categories. Another round of applause for them, please. Thank you. Next up, I'd like to invite on stage a team from Amazon Pay. Yes, please. Everybody, please put your hands together for Amazon Pay, a team from Amazon Pay. They leveraged Quora's audience, targeting top 10 metros with image ads on offer for bill payments. Congratulations, team. Next up, can I request Team Intel to please come forward? Team Intel. Everybody, with a round of applause, let's welcome them. Well, Team Intel has leveraged video ads to drive awareness and increase consideration of the brand amongst the IT decision makers. Everybody, let's hear it up, please. One more time for Intel. Thank you. Next up, can we have Duolingo English Test to please come forward? Duolingo English Test, the team. They've leveraged video ads to effectively showcase the benefits of choosing DET for all aspiring aspirants, which led to great end conversations. Congratulations, Team Duolingo. Next, can we have Team TVS to come forward? Everybody, put your hands together, please, for TVS. Well, their sustenance campaigns using promoted image and text and promoted answers to build a positive brand sentiment and spread awareness across the product lines. Congratulations to TVS. We have one more. Right, next up, can we have Homelane? Team Homelane. Ladies and gentlemen, they've leveraged promoted answers to to establish thought leadership in interior design. Congratulations, Team Home Lane. Let's hear it up, everybody. Another round of applause for them. Thank you, Mr. Amit, for doing the honors. Yes, please be seated. And now to present the next set of honor rolls, I'd like to call forward Ms. Shalini Rao. Our next honor roll goes to No Broker. No Broker. Our team from No Broker, please. They worked on long-term in partnership by promoting user reviews on Quora. Congratulations to you, Team No Broker. Let's hear it up, everybody. Let's hear it up, please. Thank you. Next up, can we have Team Clear Tax, please? They've leveraged Quora to reach audiences to file ITR on time. Also with the ease of process to file ITRs for businesses. Congratulations, Team ClearTax. Everybody, a big round of applause for them, please. Thank you. Next up, can we have Team Himalaya? Team Himalaya. Let's keep the applause coming, everyone. Team Himalaya has leveraged Quora's promoted answers to educate users about hair care and gum care. Congratulations to the team. A round of applause, please, once again, everyone. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, can we have Lenovo India? Well, Team Lenovo India has leveraged Quora's consumer and B2B community targeting with image ads for the range of laptop servers and storages to the B2B audiences. Congratulations, team. Next, can we have Team OnePlus to come forward? Team OnePlus. Everybody, a round of applause for them. They've leveraged Quora's consumer tech enthusiasts with image ads on their flagship phones and Note series. Congratulations to Team OnePlus. Let's hear it up, everybody, one more time. Next honor roll goes to Manipal's American University of Antigua. A round of applause to them, everyone. They've leveraged image ads to drive performance, which helped in driving efficient CPL. Congratulations, team. Please put your hands together, everyone. Congratulations to you. The next honor roll goes to Healthify. Healthify. Do we have the team here? Yes. Well, they've leveraged promoted answers to effectively create a high credibility for the brand by showcasing genuinely good reviews of the users on the platform. Please hear it up, everybody, one more time for Team Healthify. Congratulations to you. And we have one final award, ladies and gentlemen, and it goes to Tanishq. A final honor roll goes to Tanishq. They've leveraged Quora promoted answers and banners to promote wedding collection and festive campaigns. Everybody, another big round of applause to our last honor roll winners. Tanishq, congratulations to your team. Thank you, Ms. Shalini, for doing the honors. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, with this, our final proceedings come to a close. And now I'd like to invite Ms. Neha Chimbulkar, the head of marketing Quora, APAC and EMA, to please come forward and share some closing remarks with us.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for waiting with us all throughout. And as we come to close our Quoraverse Unlocking Knowledge for Impact event, co-hosted by Social Samosa and Quora, I want to take a moment to express my gratitude to each of you for joining us tonight. It has been an inspiring evening filled with insightful discussions and valuable exchanges among some of the brightest minds in marketing. Tonight, we witness an inspiring gathering of marketing experts who shared their valuable insights and experiences with us. From exploring contextual advertising to the power of storytelling, and delving into intricacies of marketing airports. Each session has enriched our understanding of the marketing landscape. Additionally, the engaging discussion on unlocking power of insights and curiosity provided us with fresh perspectives on driving meaningful engagement. Each panel and session not only showcased innovative ideas, but also highlighted the incredible potential of collaborative learning. It was particularly exciting to celebrate the most impactful campaigns on Quora and showcasing the creativity and innovation within our community. A special thank you to the Social Samosa team for being such great partners and our speakers and panelists. Your contributions have undoubtedly enriched our understanding of how we can unlock knowledge for impactful marketing strategies. As we wrap up, I encourage everyone to take this opportunity to network further. Please enjoy the evening and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Ms. Neha. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, with this we come to a close, and now the post-networking area is open. Please go ahead. We have drinks and food outside. Go ahead and spend the rest of the evening making new connections and also perhaps discussing more collaborations with all of you. So, ladies and gentlemen, the networking area is now open. Thank you very much for being a wonderful audience tonight. All right, so before that, can we please have all the honor roll winners to come forward for a group picture? We'll end with that. Once again, everybody, thank you so much for being a wonderful audience. My name is Nicole Adams, signing off. Thanks a lot. Now, can we request all the honor roll winners to please come forward for a group photograph? Thank you.